Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Good afternoon. BMD, you were cracking me up earlier when I was trying to get squared away for the show. I have my fresh coffee. You got yours. Everybody got your coffee, your tea, whatever your vice might be. We don't hold no judgment. Just stay safe out there and don't drink and drive and all the crazy stuff. Welcome in, everybody. Now the dog's going to make noise in the background. It is what it is. Life happens, doesn't it? What are we going to do without these animals? I tested a new cold coffee a few hours ago. Y'all know I've been drinking coffee all day and all night. Well, not all night, not anymore. I've made myself stop doing that a few years ago. But I have been known to take and make a late night coffee. Like sometimes I can't. It doesn't affect me in that way. Sometimes I need it. But anyway, we're here. I didn't care for that new cold coffee I tried this morning. It wasn't. Something was not quite right. So on to more stuff. Perfect music for a chill and coffee. Yeah, right? It is. I'm glad my mic is still working. I really thought I broke it the other day. Oh, goodness. Welcome. And Michelle, welcome. Yes, you caught a live. Oh, my God. Not that nonsense. Welcome. Hey, how are you? Of course, my wonderful mod team is here with us. Butterfly, Rachel, and Forrest. We wouldn't know how to act without them, y'all. I wouldn't. I'd be looking around in my chat going, "Oh my God, where's my peeps?" But fortunately, they could all be here today. I'd planned to go live today, but I just didn't quite know what time. But I got the morning squared away, so here we are, guys. Today is Kaylee Jade Goncalves' birthday. She would have been 25 years old today. Kaylee is one of the 4 victims in the Idaho 4 case, taken way too soon by a madman known as Bryan Kohberger. The internet's still breaking over Bryan Christopher Kohberger. There's like a lot out there about that guy. So today we're going to make it about a victim, Kaylee Jade. Her birthday is today, June 8th. Maddie just had a birthday. Xana has a birthday coming in July, and Ethan's will be in October. I know when all their birthdays are. Like Maddie's was just, these girls' birthdays were just a couple weeks apart, right? And trying to keep these cases focused on victims, their families, the fallout, the hurt, the pain, all the things, so hard to do in this space sometimes, especially when you're unpacking the crime itself. Why people can't stick to the facts of the case instead of making up bizarre stuff, inserting themselves into cases, making it become about them and forgetting about the victim and how they even got there to start with. Sebastian Rogers' case is a prime example. All them fools can have at it and tear each other slap to pieces. I don't fucking care. There's a child at the heart of that whole entire batshit crazy fight those people are having, and it was a child named Sebastian Rogers. Kaylee's parents have been out trying to spread the word about their foundation and about helping solve crimes and getting, all the things. And it's getting obscured because, certain people out there want to scream Bryan Kohberger's name louder than a victim. Now, the other day before my mic went cattywampus on me and showed its ass, Andy and I were having a good conversation. You guys were here for it, and I appreciate all of y'all that were here for that. I was about to play a video with a direct message from Kresha Easton because I wholeheartedly support anything Kresha has to say and wants to say on these streets, anything her mother wants to say. They are the biggest, loudest voices that I want to hear from. I see, and let's not call it scams and grifting anymore. Let's call it straight up con artist. Trisha from Web Sleuths is nothing more than a straight up con artist. There's thousands of stories about legitimate con artists out there. So let's get away from that cutesy pie word, scammers and grifting. You're a fucking con artist. And you milk people out of all their love, attention, and God, bring the money. Got bills to pay today. Oh no, I meant we got foundations to help give money to, guys. All that shit, Trisha. Look, I'm not gonna be the one to sit here and go 3, 4 months on end just raw about the Trisha of it all. But the minute you come after a fucking family, honey, that's when you get my attention. Going after each other, I don't give a shit about. It was all good until we started going after each other, and then it all comes to light. Just keep that in mind and take it with a grain of salt, because I want to go back. I talk about true crime all the time. I try to steer clear of that drama. Sometimes you have to talk about it, right? But the focus gets away from the victims and all that Trisha mess, HTC shit people are still wallowing in. Remember how you got there and why. It was to support a family. Oh my God. Okay, I haven't even looked at chat, guys. I'm sorry. I feel like I could rant for hours and hours, and I don't know if I get it all out properly. Like I just, but this is beautiful, Kaylee. And her parents are going to be on the interview room tomorrow night. I don't know what all they're going to talk about with Chris McDonough. Like him or not, I don't, it's not my, y'all do you. But if y'all are interested in going to see what a family has to say that is impacted by the crime committed against their loved ones, God knows they've had their hands full dealing with the internet fallout. Everybody wanting to insert themselves into their business. Everybody knows more than they do. And it's sad. It's so sad it comes to this. I want to play Kresha's video. Let me say hey to everybody who's come in. I want to pull that up because I told Andy, I said it sucked. I said, because right before we went down, I had it queued up and she's like, man, I was like, yeah. So we're going to take a look at it because I thought it was impactful and important. And I wish it takes me, when I listen to this video, it took me back to watching that girl Megan get on camera and tell the Vallow family to take a fucking seat. That sent me to next level. I'm sorry. I can't with that. Oh my God. Oh, and shout out Jolene. That little short you did had me rolling half the damn night. I kept going back and I was being petty. Hey, I live in the flesh just like y'all. I try to be my higher self, but hey, we're all here. Okay. Let me scroll down to the video, get it queued up, and then I'm going to. Who made this? Was it Olap? Oh, don't act like you're crazy, internet. Not today. It made me fight you. You don't know me today. God dang it. It's Gemini season. I'm going to come full force. Okay, calm down, girl. Calm down. Okay, here we go. All right, let me take a look. Oh, look. Hey, Kresha. How are you, honey? I went back to finish the Trisha live the other night after Jolene, and there she was asking who wouldn't want to raise money. No. Kresha, she can sit, like Andy says, take all the damn seats, lady, because so now I'm coming. Y'all, y'all give this a thumbs up. Hit the like button. Hit the share button. Hashtag it, con artist. Web sleuths. If anybody is going to do a fundraiser for JJ Vallow, I think it would be Kresha and his family. And maybe you should ask for some approval and some, hey, can we get your input at least? People should do things from their heart. And that doesn't happen enough around here. Many people come out and claim they're here for the heart of it all. And now I'm going to show you what these bad people are about. And guess what? The cash cows cha-chinging on their end too. Keep that in mind. I'm going to get myself in trouble today. I better just... Never mind. Never mind. Okay. Okay, welcome in everybody. Kresha, thank you for joining us. Real happy, welcome. This is Crochet Mish, welcome. I don't want to pronounce any of you guys' name wrong. Forgive me if I do. Elst Edler, is that correct? Angel Eyes, welcome in, guys. Thank y'all. Jet, it's good to see you. Let me get this on the screen. Right? Families go through so much. The Nancy Guthrie case, you got JLR running around out there telling everybody on the internet that will listen that Annie and Tom did this. I don't care what you think about Annie and Tom, and they were the last ones to see her. So what? Were you the last one to see your mama last night? But here he is going to go to court and cry because some YouTuber was outside of his house. Now he's so scared he can't sleep at night, and his mama lives down the road. You fucking wimp. All right, said my piece. Moving on.
Stacy have been calling you trolls for asking valid questions. They've been claiming that a woman named Daphne is committing fraud. But today I am bringing the actual court receipts. We don't need exploiters and frauds telling us how to spot criminals when they are projecting a holier than thou attitude while trying to use a deceased supporter like a cash register. Let's look at the facts. Beth B., a supporter of theirs, passed away. Almost immediately, Patricia A. Griffith filed a creditor's first amended application trying to get appointed as a temporary administrator of Beth B.'s estate. Tricia legally claimed that Beth B. died intestate, meaning without a will. Why would she do that? Because Tricia told the court she was a creditor who relied on promises of estate property to her detriment. She claimed she deserved to be compensated for benefits she gave Beth B. during her life. Tricia wanted total control of Beth B.'s assets, which included a $288,000 home, 2 cars, and multiple bank accounts. To get that control, Tricia launched a legal smear campaign against Daphne, the person who's actually trying to handle Beth B.'s estate. Tricia filed court documents accusing Daphne of committing fraud to access Beth B.'s accounts and depleting the estate's finances. This is exactly what Tricia and Stacy have been echoing on YouTube. But here is what they aren't telling you. Tricia's entire scheme relied on the court believing that there was no will, but there was. Daphne produced Beth B.'s valid, self-proved last will and testament from July 21st, 2011. And guess who Beth B. left her estate to? Not Tricia. Beth B.'s will explicitly named a charity, the Tri-City Animal Shelter, as the sole beneficiary. Tricia tried to use unwritten verbal promises to legally override an actual will and take money directly out of the hands of this animal shelter. When Tricia made her wild fraud accusations, Daphne's lawyers filed a general denial, legally demanding that Tricia actually prove her claims. She couldn't. The judge saw the truth, admitted Beth B.'s 2011 will into probate, and appointed Daphne as the independent administrator to protect the animal shelter's inheritance. The court shut Tricia down. This level of depravity, exploiting a deceased friend who supported your brand, shows exactly who these people are. And it brings me to something incredibly personal and non-negotiable. Tricia, I am speaking directly to you now. Listen up. Every year, you host your Not the End of the World, again, 24-hour live stream. You sit on camera, you sleep on camera, and you use the horrific tragedy that Chad and Lori Daybell inflicted on my family members as a backdrop to fundraise. Last year, you used my nephew JJ's school, the Life Academy, which is a wonderful school, to raise money. After seeing how you've treated Beth B.'s estate, I am drawing a very hard line right now. Do not dare use my family's names this year. Keep JJ out of your mouth. Keep Tylee out of your mouth. Keep my Uncle Charles out of your mouth. I refuse to allow.
Okay, I don't mean to interrupt this video, but if she's still, after this, if she's still going live and asking, I'm becoming her biggest troll. Block, baby girl, block, oh lady, You ain't no baby girl. Old lady on the couch. Block me all you want. I've never had a troll account in my life, but I'm about to have a fucking 100.
Allow you to exploit my family's pain or their immense goodness to gain any further support, clout, or financial backing for the Trisha Griffith brand. You do not get to project yourself as a savior or an advocate for victims while you are actively trying to gut an animal shelter's inheritance in probate court.
July 22nd, 2020. Okay. You know, we should have like a countdown party to midnight, July 22nd. Do you want to do that? I think that'd be fun. We should have the end of the world party, huh? Really?
Yeah, it's fun to celebrate what a deranged couple. It's not fun. It's weird that you even. Well, oh yeah, you're one of them people that want to know if we're ever in good moods, right? We don't know how to have fun.
We should. Chad is free now. Yeah, Chad has not been charged with anything, although I'm sure he is under investigation. So we're going to have to wait and see that. Ella says, wait, if Chad's out, why doesn't he bring the kids? Well, because he follows Lori.
Oh my God, lady, maybe so. We know what men like to follow a lot of times for bad reasons. Chad had a lot of followers. Y'all don't get it fucking screwed up. He just happened to catch himself a pretty little blind one.
He follows Lori. And because I believe the kids are dead. Do you guys want to have an end of the world party on July 21st? We'll use it Eastern time, okay? July 21st at, we can start it at like 11:49 and see what happens. What do you think? It's the end of the world as we know it.
Y'all come on over now. We'll have a big celebration and a fucking party, and y'all give me all your money for JJ's school. I would like to know, Kresha, do we know, did the school ever get any money? Was the family ever notified that, hey, we just got a big donation in the name of JJ Vallow? Did that ever happen? Do we have proof there were any funds ever given to JJ's school in the past by Trisha Griffith, whatever the hell her name is? All y'all digging up all her documents about her damn shit? Where's that? Where's the proof she gave money to JJ's school? Does anybody got it and I just missed it? Because I ain't following all the drama closely. A true crime. Although she is a fucking crime.
Oh, yeah, we should all wear our tinfoil hats. Absolutely. Okay, guys. You got it. That's our party. I will schedule it as soon as I get off. We have the end of the world party on July 21st. Okay, so that's a little under 2 months.
So she's saying this end of the world party, guys, for those of you who may not know, wasn't that the day that Chad and Lori said the world was going to end? So she's making fun and making light of, right, this bullshit of that whole entire tragedy. She's over here singing, we're going to party, and like it's 1999 bullshit. Like it's not a somber occasion, right? That
from now, we're going to do it. Start it like let's start it like at 11:30 Eastern on July 21st. And
okay, thank you, Kresha. Trisha only began on YouTube in early February of 2020. This was May of 2020. Melanie Gibb had just done her East Idaho News debut. Oh my God, no. The kids were found in June. Yeah, they were found on my birthday, Kresha, and I like. There's a lot of crazy things that go on around that day. And July 9th is so strange, but I'll always remember that. So tomorrow, guys, will be 6 years that the kids were found. Bless your family, honey.
Lori Vallow has a specific time the world's going to end, If we can find that out, we'll start it like a half hour before that. And I do believe that Lori and Chad, in my opinion, killed her kids. And she did kill, in my opinion, her kids for him.
Kresha said she was celebrating Chad and Lori's mission to rid the world of their obstacles, their family members. Oh my God. Kresha, they deserve the end of the world, them two freaks. Yeah, June 9th.
This is all for each other, leading up to this end of the world, July 22nd, which gives me a chance to segue into this advertisement. Don't forget, right before midnight Eastern, we'll do it Eastern time, on July 21st, we're going to have our end of the world party. Okay? We need to bring party favors and hats.
So has this freak done this every year? Had her little end of the world parties? Oh my God.
I want everybody to dress up, and we're going to have an end of the world party. And won't we be shocked if the end of the world doesn't happen? I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't have anything planned past July 22nd, but hey, we are going to go live though and have an end of the world party. Remember, the most important thing is we are having an end of the world party here on Webslow's YouTube Live.
So every year, has she done like a fundraiser in the name of the family or JJ? If she's having an end of the world party to remember Lori and Chad's bullshit, has every year been like a different charity? Where's the proof anybody got any money ever? Huh. Oh, thank you, Kresha. Thank you. And yes, Essel, thank you as well. That I don't think I said that right. Elder. I'm not. I am tongue tied today,
July 21st.
as usual.
We need to narrow down the time here. I really need to find out. I would think there'd be a specific time that the world is supposed to end. And I want to find out so we can be broadcasting live.
God, I wish it was right now almost.
When it happens, because just think of all the people that will be watching us as the world ends. Wow. July 21st, end of the world party. We're going to start just a little bit before midnight Eastern time, celebrating the end of the world, which we know is not going to happen. And we're just going to rub it in Lori and Chad's face.
Well, that's something to rub into their face. Ha ha ha. The world didn't end like you claimed. What, Trisha, are you doing? It's sensationalizing. I'm not going to say the word grifting. And I see, what was it, Butterfly's comment there. This woman, to me, in my eyes anymore, is straight up con artist. She knows what she's doing. It's very it's a strategic thing. It goes a little bit beyond this little grift on the YouTube. Trisha. And they're con artists, because legally there's more we can do about con artists.
So we will have that party. Wear your tinfoil hat, please. Okay, thank you. We are having the end of the world party on July 21st. We're going to do kind of like a New Year's Eve thing that they do in Times Square. Not sure what time we're going to start the end of the world party. Just bring your tinfoil hats and any crazy, nutty.
I don't even use the term tinfoil hat. That makes the crime we're talking about or the case or anything seem a little comical to me. Stuff like that, right? I'm trying to have a serious conversation. Here comes the tinfoil hat, people. Jesus. You mean conspiracy theorist? What do we do?
Conspiracy stuff you have. We're going to party. We're going to party like it's 2020 end of the world, July 21st. At some time, I'm going to say at 11 p.m. Eastern, because I think we're going to go on Eastern time for the end of the world. I need to find out about that. I need to know if there is.
Trisha needs to decide which time zone we're going to peace out on the world on. That is so weird. Only time I consider the time zone, like two of my mods are 2 hours behind me and my other mod. And I always had to remember them, right? I'm like, oh wait, that if I go that early, that's super early for those two. But I know I'm central. East Coast people will get me an hour, so I try not to put much thought into a lot of things like that. It mess your brain up. So I just try to make sure that I'm not going too early for them, right? She's over here trying to figure out what time zone to die in.
They set time that the end of the world is going to happen. Party, July 21st, right here on Web Sleuth's YouTube Live. All right? No need to diet, people. The end of the world is coming. Eat up. And then if it doesn't come, then you start your diet after. Eat up. I'm going to go get me some chocolate mousse.
Oh.
Let me get me gallons of it. I'm going to bathe in it. Ugh.
She shares a lot of stuff, doesn't she? I mean, I think we all do. Being on the internet, we tend to share things, and I'll share, it comes up. But she's over here like, ew. What? And all these people that hang on her words and join up over there. And what gets me is I've heard tale, because I don't venture off over there into the devil's den. Maybe I should. But I've heard tell that a certain guy hangs out in that chat from time to time. An alleged friend of Kresha's and mine. He just got brought up in Jolene's latest short about buying shots for young girls. Huh. That's the kind of people that goes over there and flocks to this bullshit. And to the HTC lady. People who are maybe afraid to see there's more than what's on the surface. Surface people.
Sounds so good. We will be having the end of the world party. I will be inviting other YouTube creators to join us. I don't know how we'll do it, but who knows? So we're going to celebrate because according to Chad and Lori, since we're not one of the 144,000, that, our lives will be over and only they will be saved and they will lead them into a land of milk and honey and bologna. Yes, thank you. That money will go to the buffet. We'll serve things like bologna and, bull things. All the things to do with Chad.
Tuesday is party night because we're going to party up to midnight. July 22nd. You know what that is? It's the end of the world as we know it.
Oh my God.
Okay, I'm going to get my tinfoil hat. I'm trying to see if other YouTubers maybe want to join in and maybe we could all meet at Zoom.
Nobody wants to meet with her. Does she think that if she can get all her people to put on a tinfoil hat, they will fail to see her reality? I have a puppy in the other room doing something I need to go check on, guys. I'll be right back.
Somewhere or something. I can't host a Zoom because of my internet, but I think it'd be great if we could get some more people together. If not, it'll just be you and me. Okay? We'll just party on. Because the world is ending. So you can eat what you want. I'm going to go eat what I want tonight. Forget about my diet. Yeah, that's what I'll do. So, Chad and Lori said the end of the world is coming July 22nd. All right? They were going to lead the people, the 144,000, back into civilization. And then they were going to, be the leaders and start this whole new world, right? Well, we all know that's baloney. We all know that's not going to happen. So I was trying to think of something we could do that would be interesting, also to help celebrate Tylee and JJ and their life and what they meant. And
okay, so this video is showing the pattern, right, of Trisha's every year I'm going to have this big fundraiser and just con my people out of money on the backs of victims. And I've always described that as how some people on YouTube built their channels on the backs of victims. Idaho 4, a prime example. What are you going to do in 10 years in that case? Nobody wants to even talk about it anymore. What are you going to do? Delphi, same way. There's a lot of victims in this space and in these crimes we talk about. And their rights aren't upheld enough, you know? And then people like this come out here and claim they want to do this and that in the name of these victims. Without a victim, we wouldn't have a crime to discuss. We wouldn't have a defendant to discuss without a victim. And yeah, a lot of times they will get kind of sat down for a moment because you're unpacking court documents and trying to move through to trial so they can come back to the forefront and get their justice. But no, every year I want to say it's their birthday and wish them a happy birthday. And I have a child in heaven. It is her birthday. I get it. Y'all can call it what you want, birthday, heavenly birthday. It doesn't bother me either way. I say happy birthday. And soar, fly high, right? And I will never say to another family member they're in a better place, because no, their better place is right here next to me.
What I could do with the incredibly limited tools to me. The only tool I have is what you're looking at right now, is the camera in my phone. I can't use Zoom because my internet is too weak. I can't do anything else because when it comes to anything technical, I am severely damaged, emotionally, physically, and brain-wise in that area.
Oh, Kresha, as a creator, no doubt in my mind, they went and privated all those videos, right? It's not rocket science, in my opinion. We all know how this works, especially if you create. Well, I don't care if you're using StreamYard, Restream. What do you do? Restream. I don't count on them to keep all my video, all my stuff here. That's on me. It's all on my YouTube channel, every bit of it. I ain't paying them to do what YouTube's already doing for me, right? Like, what? So they're all on private, and it's obviously for a reason. Look how much smack she talked about a active case and all the things, because she's an idiot. Only a fool does that. Only a fool goes on to an open mic on YouTube and talks about their criminal or civil cases. Oh, unless they're a messy ass person. Because why would you? Oh, Lauren. Oh, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't. It'll go to court one day and stuff.
You know what I'm going to do?
Dumbasses.
So we're going to go with Utah time,
Not
which is
y'all,
mountain
them.
time, because that's the time Lori and Chad go by. So tomorrow, Tuesday the 21st, at 11:50 p.m. Mountain, that would be 1:50 p.m. Eastern, 12:50 p.m. Central, and 10:50 p.m.
Yep. Excuse me. If I go to my channel and I make my videos private, y'all won't even see them. I can see them. And I can make them, I can send you a link and you can privately consume it, right? There's a couple of options I have, and I can private them and they won't even show up. You won't see them when you come to the channel and look. They'll just not be there. And oh, she's not the only creator who does that at all.
Pacific.
I
I'm going to turn on this live stream.
You know how many times we go back to review a stream that's all of a sudden gone? Remember Joe Schmo's entire stream? Yeah, what happened to them?
And I'm going to keep it on for 24 hours. 24 hours and 10 minutes. It is going to go from midnight to midnight. And during that time, what we're going to do is we're going to celebrate Tylee and JJ. And I'll also be telling you about cases, missing kids cases that don't get the attention they deserve. Now,
yeah, look, if I go through and clean mine up, I'm just going to organize them into playlists, right? I think it's not. It's sometimes whatever. She did it for nefarious reasons. Anybody that believes she was over there streamlining, cleaning up, and making room for new stuff, well, they're probably not real bright if they believe that. It's not that they're not even informed of how it actually works. They're not real bright. And if you look at some of the chats out there, you see there's a whole bunch of people out there not real bright. That's your jury pool, America.
I'm going to sleep right here. You're going to see me sleep. And I'll keep checking in, okay? And we'll have the chat.
So what does she do during these little parties? Does she sleep on that couch? Now the blue crushed velvet looking couch I think she has. Does she literally sleep on it during these lives? Because she keeps always saying that. You can see me sleep. No, don't want no part of that. Oh, it might be fun to clip though. Where's Olap?
Going. And I'm going to have some YouTube creators call in as well. I'm lining those people up. And we're going to go for 24 hours. And I kind of feel, what I feel that we're doing this together, is I feel we are basically giving the finger to Chad and Lori, saying, screw you, we're going to take...
Oh, honey, I gave the finger to Chad and Lori long before everybody else on the internet was willing to do it. And guess what? You ain't heard from Lori Vallow since her little ass squirmed her way back to prison. You might have heard a squawk or two, but that portal is slammed shut, ma'am. We're done. Lori took all the fucking seats. Her power was snatched that very day. I made sure.
This day, the full day that you said the world was going to end, we're going to hang on. We're going to be live the whole time to prove, first of all, that you're liars and dirtbags and scumbags. But we're going to celebrate the children that you killed. And we're going to talk about kids that are missing, who have parents and people that love them and are looking for them, not killing them. Okay? And we'll have some fun in between as well. Okay? We are not celebrating murder. We are celebrating the lives of children. The 24-hour deal in honor of Kaylee and JJ, because Lori and Chad said the end of the world was going to happen.
You know, just the way she describes that is off-putting. Even if you were going to do it, right, and hold some sort of fundraiser, and you've done all the things right and whatever, that delivery about it, right, that's a little off-putting. There's like the empathy is gone out of this one. Just poofed. There was probably none ever there. And I wonder how that Dr. what's his name, Dr. Ricardo over there, always going on about those family dynamics. Lori Vallow's got a dumb cousin, I heard, and Trisha's got a stalking cousin. That's a strong word, stalker. Alleged. Sorry, back it up, girl. Alleged stalker cousin. Apples don't fall far from the trees. That's all I'm saying.
Happened on the 22nd, so we broadcast live that whole day, waiting for the end of the world, which didn't happen. We're going to do it every year, and we're going to do it.
Oh, wait, and Lauren's daddy has some troubles. So what they all just, criminal. There you go. Y'all are legit con artists. You learned it from your pappy. Oh, man. Oh.
But in honor of Kaylee and JJ, and to let Lori and Chad know that we will never forget those kids, even though, in my opinion, they murdered them. And we'll turn it into a spotlight.
What is she?
If you have any idea, I would like to possibly raise money to go, if there is any sort of charity that has been end of the world again.
Good Lord.
Broadcast in honor of JJ and Kaylee. And it was started because we, I didn't have any idea what to do at the end of the world. That's when Lori and Chad said the end of the world was going to happen, and the 144,000 was going to come forward, and they were going to lead them. It was going to happen then. And so I thought, well, the least we can do is stay together for 24 hours. When the end of the world comes, we'll be together. And shockingly, that was 2020. Shockingly, the end of the world has not happened. So every year we celebrate the end of the world again in honor of JJ and Kaylee. Lori probably won't have to worry about it because remember, July 22nd, it's the end of the world again. Now, Chad and Lori said it was going to be 2020, but maybe they just got, just in case Chad and Lori got the year wrong. To be together. Again, George, George. Why did I say George? I'm sorry. Chad.
The who
Chad
the fuck's
and
George?
Tammy, not Tammy. Good Lord. Chad and Lori believe. So Chad Daybell was wrong again about the end of the world. And we'll just keep doing it every single year. Like Lauren Matthias said from Hidden True Crime.
Who is that on the screen with her? That's not that Stacy, whatever they call her chick, is it? That's that dude, ain't it? The liar, Ping on Fire. Is that Ping? I don't know who hangs out on her channel. I don't know who that is. Is that Ping dude, y'all?
He says, I love the fact that you keep pointing out that Chad was wrong. End of the world again. And what we do is we line up a whole bunch of guests and everybody comes on and we have a real good time. We talk about true crime. My whole point of me babbling about this is we're hoping to get some jurors on kind of a how you doing now type update. So should be a lot of fun. We're working on the guests already. We're getting ready, by the way, for July 22nd. It is the end of the world again. Our 24-hour broadcast. We are going to have a blast. 24 hours in honor.
Oh my God.
Hey, the world was going to end.
Whoa.
End of the world again. If the world's
I don't like liars. Hold on.
On July 22nd, we broadcast live for 24 hours just in case it's the end of the world again. Remember, guys, the end of the world again is coming up on July 22nd because July 22nd, 2020 is when the end of the world was supposed to happen. And we did a live broadcast then because, hey, the world was going to end. I wanted it to end with you all together. And shockingly, it didn't. So we just assumed that Chad Daybell got the year wrong. So every year we do a 24-hour broadcast and in case it's the end of the world, so we can be together. And then we always raise money for a kids charity. So it should be pretty fun this year. We got some, we're gonna be cooking green enchiladas and all kinds of fun stuff for the end of the world.
When was the last time we had any communications?
The last time I remember our communications was you and I were speaking in the kitchen when the family was over.
Okay, so you think that was that time in 2018?
I think so.
Okay. And were we eating my green chili chicken enchiladas?
Do not remember that.
You do not remember that?
Nope.
Is that what I made every time we had a family get together, which was like 10 times a year?
I don't remember that.
Okay.
We're going to be cooking green enchiladas and all kinds of fun stuff for the end of the world. Here's the deal. We have it's the end of the world again live broadcast coming up. And everybody has been me other than over the phone.
She knows everything, Trisha. Come on.
She does know. You know what? She really does.
I've been around longer than people think.
How do people watch this lady?
It's the end of the world again broadcast. And we always raise money for a charity. It's got to be a charity or a, somebody that's helping children. Or what the heck is this? Just a second here.
Your notification that should be turned off while you're doing
I
this.
just got this.
Yeah, Daybell.
It might be. I just got this weird notification.
Kresha, it's her notifications and it should be turned off while she's doing this. I fucking love you.
But it's got to be either a charity or something that helps children. Okay. So last year we did it for JJ's school, and we're working on another charity for it. Well, I don't want to comment on it just yet, but I just want to assure everybody, because people are saying, are you going to do it? Of course we are. We do it every year, and we do it for a good cause. And we also do it so we don't forget the children and the victims in this case and in other true crime cases. And we have guests on from all over the world that come and talk about it. And we, it's 24 hours long, and you get to watch me sleep, which I think is probably the most exciting thing that anybody could ever.
Is that a constant thing over there? They just watch Trisha sleep? Ew, that's like who would want that? Well, there's weirdos that want that kind of stuff, but damn.
Yeah, if you're a voyeur, you'll love the show.
Yeah, because I sit there with my mouth open and I sleep sitting up and I look like an idiot. Did we give people a link to the school? I think we did.
I think we just give them, yeah.
And so they're doing that again this year. Now, so Kresha, or who, if I don't know if Kresha is still here. So after Kresha has advised her warned her, do not say my family's name, use my family's name in your fundraiser that she's doing, and she still did it. Let's see. The only reason I would make alt accounts because I know I'm going to get blocked the second I go in, and I'm going in under my real name. I'm not scared. I don't want that to be confused because I will go in under my name, the Salty Sleuth at Salty Sleuth. I'm sure I'll get blocked or whatever. So that's why I may have to have 100 troll accounts to keep going back, just sticking it. Nah, bish, what the hell? If you were asked, told, warned, you know there's a problem. She's fully aware of it. She hasn't forgotten how she came out and tag teamed with old Megan over there to help support Lauren to try to silence Kay and Kresha and make them look bad. And they are the family of the victims. They are the ones that Lauren was talking bad about. Yes, she spoke bad about her girlfriends. Yes, she spoke bad about her colleagues. They're women. She spoke bad about a victim's family that she platformed and shined a light on. That's what bothers me the most. All that other sideshow bullshit. What am I going to do about all that? Crazy. This is the parts that bother me the most.
A link to the school.
Still doing it in their names, though.
Yeah, and
We'll have
then
to go back and look and see how we did it.
right,
But
I did. Yeah, and
then-
we're going to try and do that again this year. Okay,
Yeah.
but we will get a very good charity or children's group to raise money for.
Yeah.
And it's always fun, but it's serious too, because we want to remember the victims of this horrible, awful thing that happened. And I was watching somebody, I'm not going to say who, but they said, I just don't want JJ and Kylie and Tammy and Charles to be forgotten. And I don't think they ever will be. And
That
we're
would be the worst.
I cannot with that Megan Connor chick. I never could. Never could. Everybody's trying to tell me she's okay. Not like Joe Schmo and them, right? Like, who is this Megan chick? What the fuck? Oh, yeah, that's that Lori Vallow's cousin, right? There's a couple of her family members on the YouTube. And here comes Megan with the empathy and the come live life like me. I'll be your life coach. And I'm like, oh boy, I see where you stole every bit of your empathy from in those little Facebook groups you joined, back in the mid 2000s that started teaching you young women about the empathy, and you're an empath. You're an empath. That's why that narcissistic boyfriend you can't get rid of. That's why you can't get rid of him. Not that you don't got no backbone. You're an empath and you allow people to walk all over you. Not real empaths. They learn hard lessons and they walk a hard life. And they learn certain tools and things, and you're not teaching it properly, and I wish you'd stop, because anybody is capable of empathy if they're normal. They should be capable of empathy. An empath is a completely different thing, Megan Connor. You're a con artist too, just like your family member.
In my eyes, if people forgot them and only remembered Lori and Chad, that would just be
the worst.
That would be the worst thing ever. And
the worst.
You know, I have a granddaughter now who's autistic and she's deaf, and so when it comes to these children's faces,
God, I just did the same thing, Kresha. Y'all can't see my face, but holy shit. I'm like, light a fucking cigarette. Like, that's that bad. You know, got my vibe all messed up. Look at that. And I go outside to smoke. So, y'all, I'm going to mute and join you in the chat for a moment while I run out the back door for a second. This heifer done got me irritated.
The places that teach children like that. There are so many services these children could benefit from and really need, and the schools. If we can help with that in any way, or like the child-centered Mike King, the victims of crime, these children. You know, a fundraiser once a year is
Right.
Even
We did that for Mike King one year.
even the accolades, okay? I don't want attention to be directed their way at all in any way, because I don't want another crime victim family member to find their stream because of them claiming to do good things in my family's names. That's the whole point here, like I do believe when she said that, I was like, okay, I remember a link being shared. So hopefully it did go straight to the school. But, I don't want we don't want them to use our family's names. And they can call Tammy Daybell's family. They can call Joe Ryan's family and do whatever, like I don't have any say so. But it's the point. I don't think I'm being very, rude. Just can you stop? You've been very mean to me and my family. You've supported Lauren through all this shit. Okay. And so we're not friends, apparently. You made that very clear and very loud and very fucking clear. So keep my family's names out of your fucking mouths. And I mean that shit. I mean business. And if you don't believe me, I've got parents who they're not afraid of talking. They're not, they're not foreign to microphones and people who hold them, real journalists. Okay. So their voice can become really, really, really fucking loud if you fucking go there. That's just me. It's not a threat. It's just a fuck around and find out kind of moment. All right. This is called standing up for yourself and your family, my family. And this is what people do whenever they, like in my situation, learn that they've been being used. Their family's been being used. That's called exploitation. Okay. And when people I'm actively saying, do not raise money in the name of my family members. Do not exploit them. That's what that means. Tell me again. Okay. That's what that means. We do not want you to raise money, funds, gain any kind of attention going your way. Okay. Using our family's names. And there's legal repercussions, if they continue to go on and, so I was trying to do it without having to involve my parents, but I know, they're not exactly responsive or I would say compassionate people. They played like they were and had me fooled too, guys. Just saying. It is what it is. Get over yourself. Everybody gets fooled. Okay. There's going to be there's more Trishas, there's more Laurens, there's more Chad and Lori's. Unfortunately, there's more. And we're going to have to navigate these things and these people in these difficult situations every damn day. Okay. There's no hero in any story. There's just use your fucking common sense. Listen to your intuition. You were born with that, but they've tried to silence that too. They've tried to get it to where when people start doing the thinking for you, then you end up, in my opinion, like web sleuths. You end up, everybody's got their opinions, but it's like it appears like they're being told, how to think, what to think. I'll do the thinking for you. Stop thinking, okay? And they're the know all be all. And then what?
Your Honor, may I proceed?
Yes, please.
Your Honor, for the record, Civil Action 2483 CV 0692. This is Paul O'Keefe individually and his personal representative of the estate of John Joseph O'Keefe III et al. versus C&C Hospitality LLC doing business as C.F. McCarthy's et al. Counsel, please identify yourself for the benefit of the court and the record, starting with plaintiff's counsel.
Good morning, Your Honor. Dan Buck for the plaintiffs.
Morning. What do we have for C&C?
Okay. There. Kresha, I don't know if you're still here and listening, but man, girl, don't stop talking about it and don't stop saying it. Enough people can't listen. Enough people can't be told. It can't be shouted loud enough. Are people thinking anymore? It's one thing to come out here and discuss things and let everybody know that, your opinion is your own. Maybe we may or may not form the same opinions, right? But this following, right, that seems to be going on, that mob mentality that gets created, and the weaponizing of people, weaponizing chats against communities, against each other, and stuff like that is insane. Going against these families like that. And Trisha, what are you doing continuing to try to hold this weird party every year? Do it. Maybe it was time to move on to a new topic, a new day, a new reason to fundraise for children. Other than, there obviously, this is I still feel like that's for the families, right? To decide what, when, how, where, how they want that to look like going forward. They haven't had time to breathe for years. Lori freaking Vallow just had more trials. 2 back to back. What was it, a year ago? Is it been 2 years now? I don't even remember. Recent. So they haven't had time to breathe completely. They're still dealing with the fallout of this woman, right? And at the same time, having to watch all this fallout on the internet. And then at the same time, the world seeing how Hidden True Crime was treating them behind their backs. It's so ridiculous. So when was Trisha's last live? Is she over there talking about having this end of the party thing? End of the whatever she called it? It's like the devil's den over there. I never ventured all. In fact, her ass was all up in the middle of that Sebastian Rogers messery for a hot minute there when you platformed all those people. Weren't you, web sleuths? Yeah, that was pre-Lauren Matthias. I've known about your ass for a hot minute. Outside of Lauren Matthias, your weird ass. Oh, yeah, she talked about the Mickey Steins hearing. God, Lord, help us all. Nancy Guthrie, Lynette Hooker, Crime Con. She actually talks about other crimes. So, I'll have to go to her. No, I'm not like subscribed or anything, so I don't ever know. Okay, let me subscribe. Ooh, little flashy things went off. Ew. I almost want to go, ugh. Okay. Subscribed. So that way when she goes live again, I'm going to know. It's time for me to do some recon. My way. Well, lady. Oh, well, thank you for gifting out a membership. Who got that? Gucci? Well, nice. Welcome aboard. This is where a cease and desist should be issued. You know what? You would think, well, it's gonna, either way, if the family wants to like take Trisha and like take her to court, put a stop to this, it's cost effect. It's got a lot of cost incurred with the attorneys. And I know that, Kay probably has an attorney. I know Shannon Gray was their attorney during all of this, and he's the Goncalves family attorney over there for the Idaho 4 case. But you got to think about the fact they're trying to breathe, right? That Lori's trials were finally over. This heifer finally got everything coming to her, and then some. We're done. And then boom, the Lori Matthias mess comes out of it, right? And we all have to hear about what was going on, what Lauren was causing during the Lori Vallow trial. The families there are trying to wrap up that, if there's no closure. Get this part of this out of the way so we can go to the next step. Because there's no closure, there's steps along the way. When you lose someone naturally, there's steps along the way. But when you lose them to this type of thing, and then you got all these court cases that have to come out afterwards, Where's the breathing room, right? Where's the light at the end of the tunnel? When do you get to go to bed one night and say, oh, done? You can't. So here it all comes out now about Lauren and her stupidity. Her damn woman shit, her girl shit, her jealous of everybody. And then the grossest part of all was talking about a family. And I could never understand why she was so upset with Kresha or at Kresha or want to talk about Kresha. And the only thing I can conclude from looking at the text messages and looking at the things that she said about Kresha and covering that here, my final conclusion was the only problem that woman had, in my opinion, and Kresha can tell me if I'm wrong, she didn't like the work Kresha was doing, the things Kresha was researching and thinking about, talking about, maybe asking questions about. Which then you have to wonder, why would that bother Lauren Matthias? I don't know, because she's looking at your religion with a hot fucking big ass lens right now. We can't let that happen, can we? Let me go do some shows about that instead. I could be wrong. But it was not good. I didn't like it at all. That bothered the shit out of me, I'll be honest. Her talking about the family like that for whatever her damn warped ass reasons were. Why would you do it? Why? And you know, express it with other people like that may or may not turn on you one day when you turn on them. Turn on me, I turn on you. That's how it works. Y'all be careful what y'all text to people. I have a sister who taught me that shit fucking years ago when cell phones came out. Like, heifer, I know, I grew up with your ass. What? I'm going to pick up that phone and say it in person. Don't leave it in the voicemail either. Learned that the hard way. Don't do it. Anyway, y'all know what I'm saying. Some folks got the balls just to come out and say it, and some just got the balls to type it. All right. So, today being Kaylee's birthday and tomorrow's the anniversary, you can't even call it that. That's not the weird. I always thought that word was weird too. Like the anniversary of their found or the anniversary of their death. I don't know what word I want to call it. I've often thought about that. It doesn't feel, it just doesn't feel normal, natural. It feels weird to me. So I'm a weird person though. All right, y'all. I'm going to play a video now, speaking of families and trauma and being drugged through the mud. I don't know who took Miss Nancy Guthrie or where they took her, or even if she left the neighborhood. But I have no reason to believe at this point in time that her daughter and son-in-law were involved, considering the FBI went through everything they have with a fine-tooth comb. Then they're the ones that matter. The investigators we want looking took a good hard look and said, well, they didn't say shit. They just didn't make no arrests. They brought no charges. They nothing. Okay, so I'm gonna let that go. I don't care what Nanos has to say. I don't really think they're a victim. I mean, they're victims, just like Savannah. People need to remember that too. At this point in time, innocent until proven guilty. Remember that thing we're all big on? Innocent until proven guilty. And Nancy Guthrie had 2 children. 3. My bad. 3 children. She had 2 daughters. One just doesn't happen to have a famous name and face. One didn't go ahead and go follow those dreams and join the Air Force, become a pilot. Go. I got this. I've got mom. You too. You go. I've got this. I've got mom. That could be the story. Feels like that may be the daughter that got leaned on the most after the father passed. The one that helped. There's always that one. I was that one. Gonna help mama take care of all these littles. Well, there was only 4 of us, so not like my mama had 50 kids. But you get it. There's one that helps mama. I think Annie was that one. I think it just naturally was that way, right? Um, she's the one that stuck around. Tucson. And Nancy Guthrie wasn't an invalid. We saw back in November, just a few months before her abduction, she was sitting at a table in a restaurant in Tucson with her daughters, living it up with an alcoholic beverage on the table because she enjoyed those. Fine, functioning just normal. It wasn't like she was confined to a bed and, required 24-hour care. And that's why Annie, we're tired of taking care of mama theory was out there. They're getting drugged too. They got drugged in this case, and they got followed around, and they got all the photos taken of them for not any real reason other than a click and a view. Okay, come out and have your conversation about the family and talk about a theory, but if there's nothing to back it up, and then the porch guy video comes out. People still wanted to say that was Annie and Tom. I'm like, oh my God. And jurors, again, may see that and be asked, do you think this looks like the man? And they're like, oh, that could be that lady over there, though, that daughter. And what? It didn't look like either one, in my opinion. Well, Savannah did come out and speak a little more openly about her mother's disappearance because it started to feel weird. I don't watch the NBC stuff. I don't watch those morning shows, right? But I know that, Savannah did her interview there and everything, and I watched all that. And it was weird that NBC doesn't talk about it. I get it. It's Savannah's mother and all, but it's a active investigation, right? And it's not spoke of hardly ever. It's just like, shh, we'll talk about everything but that. They had Karen Reed on, talked to her, and that one guy made an ass of himself because he don't know how to conduct an interview. But it's all the things. Like, they don't even want to talk about these crimes. So she goes on, and I guess Savannah was filling in on that Jenna, and what's that other girl's name? Hold on. I don't know. I don't watch this stuff, y'all. Jenna and Chanel, right? I guess they have their own show. And Jenna is, of course, Jenna Busch. Look, for those of y'all who know from back in the day, they were the twins. One of the two ran amok. She was always in the media for doing bad things. Wasn't it this one, Jenna? The other one was like the quiet, shy one that didn't get in trouble. And there was the one that got in all the trouble. Wasn't it Jenna Busch? Okay, let me get the screen up. No shade to Jenna. I don't know her like that. And she's now, I guess, one of the hosts over there at Today's Show. And her and Savannah are best friends, Savannah's words. So Savannah's going to talk about her mom and how, I guess, really it's about how she's living her life in her new reality, right? Because should we expect families to come out and say anything? No, we shouldn't. And we've always seen missing persons cases where they do come out, or there's a lot of questions being asked in the media. Not all these families are comfortable to come out. And in this climate of this space these days, I don't know if families are comfortable to come speak to, like, YouTube, right? Because as soon as they do, here come the people, right? So I'm not going to judge Savannah for like not doing more. I don't know what she's doing behind the scenes. We heard she's hired a private team. Then I hear Maureen O'Connell say, well, her sources say no. I don't know what to believe. Personally, here's one thing I do know. Common sense. If I was Savannah Guthrie and I had the resources and the funding she has, absolutely, I'd have a private team on this, but they would be working with the FBI. What do y'all need? What can we do? What can y'all, and plus, what can we learn? Go get out there, boys, and go find something. There's not a lot to find, though. It's not a lot to find outside that damn video. All right, I got to get back on track. So Savannah does come out and speak to Jenna now about, like I said, life. And it tells you how, I guess, to see how victims deal with it, because they're all going to deal with things differently, right? And even with like in Kay and Larry's case, everybody wanted a piece of them almost. Like cameras were coming out of nowhere. Everybody wanted to interview, right? And of course, everybody wants to. I wanted to hear from that family because it personalized the victim, right? I focused solely on Kay and Larry. Every time I saw an interview with those two, I don't care if it was East Idaho News or Lauren, or if it was a clip on the news I saw, I was always focused on what those two had to say. I really didn't focus much on who was interviewing them because I really didn't think it mattered until later, right? Then it's like, oh, but I always tried to focus on the families and what they say. And I think people need to really start focusing on that again. And listen, if you listen to them, you can kind of understand where they come from instead of critiquing them, right? Who are they to come out and say anything? I get why we all wonder why Megan has a right to come say anything, because she flat out said nobody else does except for her, because she's got a dumb cousin that did bad things, but come listen to me and nobody else. Fuck that shit. Okay, stop, rant over. I never did walk outside yet, so let me grab my coffee and do that. Let this play, and we'll hear what Savannah has to say. Baby shower. Oh, that was Faye. That was wasn't that Savannah's wedding? Right? It was really weird. Look, it if you watch, there's certain things out there. It feels like Jenna kind of put, here I am, Savannah, like me, pick me. She was mad or upset or had her feelings hurt because she wasn't invited to Savannah's wedding. From what I saw the clips, and it was about the wedding. And it was like a private event. Like, they go back and forth about it, kind of badger one another about it. But this is recent, and Savannah's going to tell you they're best friends. So that's her words, not mine. Some folks say there's weirdness out there at the NBC place. Probably so, but I'm not going to judge Savannah for it yet, right now, right? I can't judge her, not Annie. Oh Lord, I wrestle with myself too much. Y'all can get me in trouble. Stop it. Okay, here we go.
And what I know all of us feel that way when you walked in the makeup room earlier. There were claps and hugs because you are beloved.
Well, you know I love coming here.
I know, and we love you here, and you're here, and it is National Best Friend Day, so we're celebrating the right way. But I've just marveled as somebody who knows you and loves you at your strength. You coming back here and leading the ship, which I know has not been easy, and yet here you are, morning after morning, getting out of bed, spending the mornings with us, and I know so many of you at home feel the same way about you.
Well, I mean, first of all, I can't really even look at you every day without crying. You are my best friend, and it's really hard to come back. And I've been trying so hard to hold it together, and I promise I will. This show and this hour especially is like about joy, but having you and all my I mean, everyone at the people behind the scenes, people in my ear, the producers, our castmates, it's like, when I see you in the morning, I know that you see me no matter what is going on. And sometimes it's almost too much, because I feel like to do the job, I gotta keep it together, pull it together, but I'm happy to be back, and it's like the 2 hours of my day that it's not that I'm not thinking about it, because I am. Yeah. But it's something to do, and it brings me a lot of joy to be with everybody. Yeah. But no, it's not easy.
No, I know it's not easy, and it also speaks, I think, to the fact that, I remember even when I started here, and I'm sure you've heard him, my dad sort of made fun of the way we call each other family. He's like, how's the family? But we really do work at a place where people surround you with love, like you're loved, and so there must be some tiny bit of, and relief isn't even the word. I don't even know what it is, but like a spark of something.
It is. It's a little respite. And you are my family. I mean, I don't think if I had any other kind of job, I would have even tried to come back.
Yeah.
You know, but I was like, well, I didn't, you know, I just felt like, well, what else should I do? And my mom would have said the same, like, honey, you know, just keep going, just keep going. And so I am, you know, and it's hard when you're with your best friend to not be real. So I was a little afraid in a way to do the show with you. You've asked me before, like, which are so sweet, you know, come on, you want to fill in? And I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready, because I couldn't look at you in this kind of setting where we just talk about life and not tell the truth about my life. And so, you know, I think, you know, I know maybe people wonder, like, whoa, what's going on? How is she able to do that job? Is she not thinking about it? Did she forget? No, never.
And neither have we. Like, we'll have your back. We'll be with you forever with this, and never forget.
And we still need everybody's prayers.
Yeah,
and we still wish someone would call and say what they know.
And I think
tell the truth.
I once had a conversation about our friendship randomly. This philosopher was sort of asking about the people. He said, well, do you have a good connections at work? And I said, yeah, Savannah is like this really close friend. And actually we bonded around faith. She's the godmother of my son, Hal. And, you know, and he said, and I love this so much, he said, the truest form of relationship is when you surround about something higher, when you're both focused on something bigger than just yourselves, that you're both into something that's beautiful. And I like your faith is a marvel.
Well, I'm working it out, you know, it's like step by step. It isn't easy. I mean, you know, like all the cliches and the easy things that people say, and, you know, they provide some comfort. There's a reason that people say them. But, you know, I read a book of old sermons, and, you know, there's this famous phrase about, like, a famous scripture about, you know, you'll soar like on wings like eagles. But there's a part of it which says, you'll walk and not grow faint. And this sermon that I read talked about that, and how there's a time in life when just walking and not growing faint is about as good as it can get. And that's what I feel like I'm doing. I'm trying to walk and not grow faint, and it's a gift from God that I'm able to do so. But it's always with me, you know. I mean, I cry every morning on the way to work, and I cry every morning on the way home. And I'm grateful to have good friends and to be able to come to such a beautiful and joyous and supportive place. And like so many people out there, you know, you can hold all of these things together. I try to tell my kids that too, you know. We can hold our sadness and we can hold our joy. And just, if you don't believe it, just watch me. I'm going to show you.
Oh my gosh.
So, thank you for having me. I didn't really mean to, like, overtake the chat. But they said to us, like, because your producers, who I love so much, they know that we are best friends, and they know.
That right there. The producers said to us, get out there and talk naturally.
That we're sisters.
Yeah.
And so it's like.
And also, we can't help but be ourselves.
We can't. And I know you wanted to talk about Pink at the Tonys,
I know.
And she was
and we were going to talk
amazing.
about Travis and
and do you think they're going to get married?
Oh, I don't care about all that nonsense. And they even call it that in just a second. Savannah would rather, you know, giving her that 2-hour break every day to go talk about the nonsense. So the earthquake was about 91 miles off the coast of Cuba. So I guess the South Florida and probably felt that a little bit. 6.1 earthquake struck northwest of Mantua, Cuba, prompting concern among Florida residents. I'm on the very opposite end. I am a stone's throw from Alabama. I'm nowhere near that madness down there. Most of the shaking occurred off the coast of the island country in the southern part of the Gulf of I almost said it. They tried to trick me. They got it written up like that too, because it's like the legal way, I guess, the official way. Gulf of, I can't say it. Gulf of, fuck. Gulf of Mexico. I tried, y'all. Hurricane Center even put out a warning. Lord. No tsunami threat expected. Well, thank goodness. Take a little bit of our shoreline. We don't need no more of that. It's hurricane season. Good Lord, it's going to take enough. Lord, y'all. Earthquakes. Interesting. Okay, let me get so I can see the chat. What have you guys been talking about? All right, so I think Savannah might have also seen some online comments, wondering if people are wondering how she's doing it, how she goes to work every day. I think we had questions because she's in such a position we can all see her, right? A lot of families have to return to work not long after something tragic happens or in the middle of it. Missing is different. I mean, God can imagine not knowing where the loved one is, right? That's got to be the hardest walk of all the walks. Storming there today. Okay, y'all caught a glimpse of this a minute ago when I was away before we rolled to the next video. That Michael Proctor guy was supposed to show up for his deposition today with Alan Jackson. He's like, I don't want to go. And his attorneys came and they had to have a little hearing, and they had a hearing about it. I didn't watch all of it. I saw a couple of people covering it, but from what I understand, the judge is going to have another hearing at 4:15. He said some sort of another Zoom hearing. I don't know what's going on with that Proctor guy. Do y'all know? Because y'all see he's got all those horrible messages out there and all those disgusting things that he said. Is he having a breakdown somewhere? Because they're like, it's a family emergency and medical something or another. And they're wanting the documents they provided to back up what they're trying to say. Like, what do they call it? Not just sealed, but not confiscated. That isn't the word. Shit, they have a specific word they were using today. And I was like, what in the world is that term, Canton? Anyway, that's going to come down around 4 something about this. How come in order to get justice for these victims, their investigations have to be conducted properly? Thank goodness when the investigators got on Lori Vallow's ass, they got to investigating. Unpacking Idaho 4, they were investigating anything and everything. Canton, you got some bad cops doing bad things. Kentucky, you got bad cops doing bad things. They're not the only places, right? Jurors acting a fool, people tampering with jurors. Like the court lady over there in the Murdaugh shit. None of that brings, justice to the victims. And when you got this Canton cop out there running around unchecked, his fellow cops know exactly who he is and how he is. And I'm sorry, if you don't know your husband well enough to know he talks like that behind your back, baby girl, baby girl, baby girl. I saw the things that man said about his wife. I wonder if she did. If I was a lady who wanted a man or a partner in life, I'm going to know that guy I'm about to lay down with at night. I'm going to know if he's a serial killer. I'm going to know if he's talking smack, because I'm going to get to know his ass beforehand. To fake me. Anyway, what's going on out there? And why is he hiding from his deposition? Why is he allowed? Like a criminal going to get away with that? Oh, I don't want to come today. I got a family thing, that's more important than my deposition that was planned and prepared for, and attorneys flew in for. Yeah, I bet Alan Jackson had like fire coming out of his ears. That's crazy. All right, did y'all watch the interview room last night? How many of y'all remember I watched the part, I calling it part one, because last night was part two, where they're unpacking the Cold Case Foundation's investigation into the JonBenet Ramsey case. That's what's happening over there. But they've been doing it for about a year behind the scenes, going through, according to Chris, documents and going through all the stuff that they do have. And he mentioned a 3-page report last night about DNA, but of course that's upcoming. You touched on it, and then of course it's upcoming. Damn it, man, because I need to know those things, right? I'm trying to find things I haven't heard over the years. So I don't know how many, and I took notes on it. We did a show here after that first episode. In fact, when Jay came over here, we talked about it as well. And so I watched it Sunday night. I took notes last night. I didn't know how many of you guys watched it. You were tired and you fell asleep. You saw most of it. It was hard to listen. It was Rachel with the tech issues. I don't know what was going on. And I think at one point I kept buffering. I was on my phone. And then I got on the PC and I was like, was it my end? Or maybe you were right that he had just too many people up there, right? He couldn't maintain it. But both times there were tech issues on John Ramsey's side. We have to consider he is old, but you would think after the first episode, before the second, they would have had something in place to kind of help him out. I don't know. Different locations, all the things. But Ramsey ended up getting in his car, driving to another location. Chris was like, go down to the Starbucks if you got one. And then he's like, oh, wait, you probably don't want to go there and talk about your daughter's case. Never mind, not a good idea. And I'm over here, I'm like, wow, my mouth was open. I was like, what? Starbucks? Okay, John Ramsey, go down to the Starbucks, man, and jump on this live stream and let's unpack JonBenet's disappearance in the Starbucks. That would have went over well. Mm-hmm. They were the way that they're doing that over there is interesting to me. The psychology. I see you. I see you. They keep telling us how the family's cleared, right? And they got that letter stating so from that attorney lady, district attorney, whatever the hell she was, whatever they technically called her, the DA over there. I don't know if they buy some of what they're selling yet. They told us not to make a decision yet until we unpack everything and have all the information. So I'm doing that. But they've officially took Burke Ramsey off of their suspect list last night. The child. He was the brother to JonBenet, which I never... Look, looking at crimes, you can never say never. When that was first, like, even an inkling in anybody's brain, it was like, yeah, maybe for a second, but nah, not in this, not this, right? So they unpacked a little bit of what it would take, going through the victimology and stuff. And one thing they did do that I cannot agree with, and I know we commented about this last time, they're doing the victimology part, like they're really going hard on the victimology and continuing to say that JonBenet was at a low risk on the standard of what makes you a high risk victim. The downplaying, even again by John Ramsey himself, of the pageant stuff. They continue to downplay that aspect of it, and I don't understand why. And why they act like it's not something that you would normally look at in an investigation, right? If we're unpacking this as an investigation, Why are we not looking at it a little bit there, right? I don't know if they'll ever get there. They keep saying it's got nothing to do with nothing. John Ramsey keeps saying it was just, that was all John Bonet. Patsy didn't care. And he doubled down on that, that was all John Bonet who wanted the shows. He went, when they were asking, they were getting into like the psyche of John Ramsey. That part was interesting. And they wanted to know how he felt when his oldest daughter passed. And he kind of gave the basic answers. I'm going to say that. He gave the standard answers you give. And they wanted more. And they wanted to go deeper, and I knew it. I was like, yeah, I knew what he did. I knew what John Ramsey did the second he did it. So they did get him to go deeper. But when he was asked about how the family itself felt when it came to the daughter passing, and he mainly focused on Jean Bonnet. And I was like, what happened to the family? It was all Patsy said, well, we should let these kids do whatever they want, experience whatever they want, try new things. Life's too short kind of thing. So it was all about what Jean Bonnet wanted to do. And she was sent to the base, some kind of sport. I forgot what he said exactly. To tell me all of that. I was like, wait, what about that family, the family dynamics, right? So Chris steered him right back to that, which I found interesting. They wanted to go back and unpack that. How did you feel, right? And the only interesting part about that to me was I wondered the time frame between the two daughters passing. That's a lot of stress on an individual, right? That's all I know at this point. But them unpacking that psyche of it, right? Yeah, several factors. Do y'all feel like they were doing that with John Ramsey because they were going through all of that last night before they start getting to any kind of real evidence? We kind of touched on new DNA stuff last time and this time, which we are all aware of now that there's DNA there. But John Ramsey did say something about that DNA that really, 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 really caught my attention. And I tried to catch him when he does go on like News Nation and things like that and talks about the DNA. I always pay attention. I'm not looking at John Ramsey like, oh, did he do it or not? No, I want to hear what he's got to say about this evidence, right? We'll get who did it once we get this freaking evidence. God dang. The two samples because we're like, why not IgG? And he continues to push for the testing. The two samples that can be tested and possibly identify a suspect, that was Chris McDonough's words, and then John says that those two samples need to be reformatted for IgG. So we have a STR profile for like CODIS developed from the evidence from the underwear, but you need a SNP profile for your IgG. Do we not have a SNP? Because the private lab can get you the SNP. Now that part right there is one thing that caught my attention, because that's what they do at those private labs. Ask CC Moore. She will educate you. I got to do some research on that. Because why haven't they performed any further testing on this DNA? Why not? Is it just a matter of money to pay the lab on the cops' end? Why aren't law enforcement, partnering with their private labs that they contract with? Idaho did it with Othram. They were already contracted with them when they got the IgG. They got the STR profile from Idaho State Police. They got their SNP profile, and they got the IgG started, right? That's all Othram did. So we got to investigate that further. Now, the cold case unit guys does, there's investigators on there, right? They're retired investigators. One of them is on is on the board for the new foundation for the Goncalves family. So let's pull up that foundation again. Hold on. Let me make sure They really got John to go into a really long, open up session about his feelings. I didn't know quite how I felt about it, but I felt like John Ramsey sat there and said every single thing any parent's going to tell you that lost a child. He talked about being mad at God. That's typical, right? That anybody who says that's weird, that's typical and normal, right? You get mad. You can't help it. You don't want to find out. But they just made him talk about it for a long time. And he was like, it was several years before they, but there's only 4 years in between these girls. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it yet. Do I have any suspects, Kimberly? No. If you take the family off the table, right? No. Because I've been around long enough to see the guy that did, try to confess and all the things that went on in this case. And we went over just on the other show we did about this, about how, they took John Bonet's body from the top of the stairs, and the officer went and placed her down in the living room. And there you go, where the scene's contaminated, right? It's a horrible hot mess now. And it's so much about this case that was wrong from the get-go. So when we wonder how come they couldn't find the killer, I think we see why. They botched the investigation. That's what we can't have when we're trying to bring justice to victims. So all these talking heads that have flocked to YouTube, retired law enforcement officers, retired detectives and investigators, retired FBI agents, shout it from the rooftop how bad these cops are, like the Canton cops. Like ones who don't conduct investigations at all, hardly. They just, whatever let's just move shit around in the crime scene and the body as well. Don't let the family come cry over this little girl instead of trying to preserve evidence. Weird. Hey, the OLOP. I enjoy some of your work, not some of it, all of it, but some of it more than others. And we shared a video earlier you did. Thank you for all that you do out there. I knew of you before all of this, so welcome in. Yeah, they don't put up with the trolls. We don't. Why? Life's too short for all that, right? If you want to come in and have a conversation and be normal and have a conversation and disagree and all the things and do it right, fine. But you don't come in being a jackass. We don't got time for all that. It's just bye, peace out. No explanation needed. That's very childish, even to get into the argument with them, right? Like, I'm going to highlight their comment and go at it with them. What? Get out of here. Are you joking? Got time for all that? Earthquake in the Philippines. Is that what I saw the clip of, Butterfly? Like, there was a bunch of children standing around. They were all outside. It was all shaking. The little thingy fell. I think that's what I saw. We didn't feel anything here in my neck of the woods. If I feel the ground shake and the windows rattle, it's usually because of the military. We know what y'all doing. Well, we don't, but we know, but we don't. Y'all know when the stealth bomber, before the stealth bomber was officially the stealth bomber, it was top secret. And it used to fly out here at the Air Force Base. They were testing it, and we would see it. Our dads would see it all the time. They were always in the woods, and they would talk about this thing they see, how low it would fly, how it was shaped, and they knew it was the Air Force, right, doing their thing. But we knew about it for a long time before they ever made it public that, yeah, that is what we were doing, testing it. And if you know, you know. It was no secret. It was tested at Eglin Air Force Base. Yeah, we have found all kinds of cool shit in those woods that the military leaves behind over the years and decades. I'm like a sitting duck if all hell breaks loose being next to one of the largest Air Force bases in the world. Ew, is that bad or good? I'm on the fence about that one. Oh man, man, oh man. Let me see if there was anything else before, because we'll do an update. We can go. We're gonna do a show. We can go over what the interview room said with him. It's kind of hard to follow with John. Just doesn't seem to have a good connection. Ramsey, I don't know what the hell's going on over there, but they need to get him to a good Airbnb to wrap up. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to tell them. Chris says they have 23,000 documents that they are being analyzed, right, by an AI system. And I've heard about these even. Okay, so all these documents go into the system, and they look for connections in the investigation, right? Names, places, times, dates, things. They've been analyzing stuff like that. And the first thing they do over there is unpack the victimology, the victim risk, and was she or was she not targeted? Could have been targeted. Apparently, if it wasn't her parents or her little brother, I don't think it was a rando in the night looking for a house that may or may not have a child in it, or the parents may or not wake up. That's pretty risky behavior. The perpetrator was in the home before, in their opinion and in mine, because that's like weird, right? Especially considering where John Bonet was found within the home. The rando's also going to pick that spot and find it. Wow, there's a lot happening there that would never make sense. They had to know the house. They had to know the layout. That doesn't implicate the parents necessarily, right? Just means the person accessed that home some way, somehow. See how I'm going at this? Trying to, anyway. We learned about his and Patsy's, relationship and the processing of trauma. Important to know what was going on in the victim's life, right? Prior to the crime. And in the offender's life as well. It would be nice if we knew the offender. We can't determine if there was a nexus if we don't know who the offender was yet. But was there a triggering event? That's what I'd like to know as well. Right? You take it like there was a perpetrator outside the family. Just sit them down for a minute and go, okay, was there a triggering event for whoever did that to do that? Regardless of actually who did it. Was there a triggering event? We don't know. They talked about the move to Boulder and how and why and all that, and how they were only going to do it for a couple years, 2 years because of his job and all those things. Then they began to ask him about that family dynamic. Ricardo was not on the panel. He's not investigating this as a cold case as part of the cold case unit. But that's why he's not part of this, by the way. This is the Cold Case Foundation team investigating this with John Ramsey, right? So, but they have their own criminology, whatever, experts up there. But they go into, hang on, where was it? I was just about to tell you guys about it because it was pretty, when they go into how his children, his oldest children felt about the move, right? And how did that impact them? They unpack all that stuff. I don't know. All that's doing is giving you a light on, to me, on John Ramsey, right? And what that, I guess, was just normal to unpack the family dynamics. I got to get it out of the way. Gary probably slid him a note. Don't forget the family dynamics. But it's interesting to see it, right? And to, in the way they're doing it, I can see what they're doing. I'm not mad at it at all, because they're trying to figure out his stress level, right? 4 years. His oldest daughter passed, and then John Bonet 4 years later. 4 years is not a long time to sit with a child's death. It's just not. You're just getting going. You're just putting one foot in front of the other, it feels like still. You have other children, you got life. So it's a process that takes a hot minute, right? It's not an overnight thing. And then boom, what? That happens. So he talks about his urge to save JonBenet when he found her, because he wasn't able to save the other daughter. Like, find who did this to John. I don't. It was that whole thing was like, that was like a little. It was a lot of. It was a lot, right? It was a lot that they were unpacking there. Just like heavy stuff. So y'all go in with your beverage. He talks about Patsy's cancer struggle and how, look, there's a lot of trauma all at one time in this family, right? A child passes tragically, then Patsy's cancer, JonBenet was little, and then JonBenet again, her death, right? And the way that it has, like, all that, a lot of trauma. How did the whole family deal with Patsy's cancer and treatment and all of the things that they were going into? And really, that's, I don't even think they went, I don't know, they may have went 2 hours or more, I don't know. All right, 1 second. Now, tomorrow night, like I said, the interview room said last night at the end of his broadcast there with John Ramsey, part 2, he said that Wednesday night, tomorrow night, Steve and Kresha Goncalves will be on the show. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll be there. And they're going to talk about the foundation, I'm sure, and who knows what else. I don't know what all they'll unpack over there. It's Steve and Kresha. But also, I don't know what they're going to do and talk about. But he is helping them. Now, the interesting thing about it is, it didn't surprise me, because who is it? John Douglas is on the team investigating the Ramsey investigation, right? But he's also on the Cold Case Foundation. He's also a board member on this new Murder Has a Name. And we're going to take a little closer look at the website today. Let me get it up here. Because like I said, today is Kaylee's birthday. It tried to pull up Karen Reed's stuff. That document is wild. Okay. Ow. All right. Let me see if I can pull this up on the website first, and then I will, because remember the other day we were talking about this when Andy was on. We pulled up and talked a little. We had watched the interview that Steve did with that guy. And then Kresha came into Jay's chat, which because they met at CrimeCon. I asked her a question, but I don't think she saw it. Was there really a plea deal offered? Alfred plea? I have no reason to think otherwise. Okay, where did it go? Here we go. Board of Directors. Let me pull the screen up, and then I'll show you who all's on there. Now, the foundation is to try to, raise funds to help families get DNA testing on cold cases, right? To get those DNA samples tested, because it does cost the families a lot. And there are families who can't seem to find their footing to get the help they need to get to push for testing in a lot of these cases. And a lot of times DNA just sits there in kits and samples, never tested or properly tested or things of that nature. What can they do to help going forward? Their case wasn't a cold case. Remember that. It was an active investigation, one of the first used. So this is what the foundation is about. Raising funds and helping families. All right, let me get the screen up there. And I wanted to share what they're about today in honor of Kaylee's birthday. Again, she was murdered and taken way too soon by a monster named Bryan Kohberger. And Kaylee and her family have been victims of victim shaming, victim blaming for years. Can't not say that considering the topic we've been discussing today. All right. Can you guys see that okay? Let me do this. Okay. So this is going to be the board of directors, right? All right. Christy and Steve Goncalves, chair of the board and co-founders. Get the history. Steve and Christy have been married over 30 years and are proud parents of 5 children. Family and community have always been at the center of their lives. Steve began his career in information technology during the early Silicon Valley .com era and later earned a degree in computer science. After moving to Idaho in 2003, he continued working in technology and has spent years as an infrastructure and analyst in the healthcare field. Christy devoted many years to raising their 5 children, as a stay-at-home mother, volunteering at their schools before working with the local school district. On November 13, hang on, get up here. On November 13, 2022, their lives were forever changed when their daughter Kaylee was taken in a senseless act of violence. In the face of unimaginable loss, Steve and Christy chose to turn their grief into purpose. Throughout their work with Murder Has a Name, they are committed to honoring Kaylee's life by supporting victims, standing with families, and ensuring those seeking justice have the resources to pursue answers. Wait a minute. Yeah. Okay. Tracy Baracco is the executive director. She brings 16 years of law enforcement experience, built on integrity, accountability, and commitment to justice. She prioritized victims and worked to hold violent offenders accountable, guided by professional experience and personal dedication. Instrumental in bringing Murder Has a Name to life, helping to shape the mission, support victims and families, strengthen investigative resources, and ensure no cases forgotten. This Celine Charleboy. Oh, she's pretty. Celine serves as a community communications and digital strategy director. She leads the foundation's digital strategy, communications, and online presence. She graduated with honors degree. Okay. She built and manages the foundation's website and digital infrastructure, helping expand awareness and ensure the foundation's resources. So I guess families can apply for help, and then they have a vetting process with their board. Probably I'm going to try to figure all that out. Through her work, she focuses on using technology and modern communication tools to ensure victims are never forgotten and the families searching for the truth can find information, support, and advocacy. Oh boy. Chris Hansen, board member and an ambassador advocate. Okay, we know about him. He is widely known for his relentless pursuit of criminals and unwavering commitment to uncovering the truth. Chris brings decades of investigative experience and insight to our work. Chris has exposed those who operate in the shadows, bringing national attention, accountability, and justice to victims and their families. His experience strengthens our efforts to elevate public awareness, advocate for victims, and push forward meaningful action. Oh, look at there. Nancy Grace is a board member, ambassador, advocate. Of course, we all know Nancy Grace, American legal commentator, victims' right advocate, former prosecutor, dedicated career to pursuing justice for victims of violent crime. She's known for her unwavering commitment to truth and accountability, spent decades amplifying voices of those who can no longer speak for themselves. The foundation is dedicated to advancing justice through modern forensic DNA technology, helping solve cold cases. Nancy stands behind this mission, driven by action, innovation, and hope, dedicated to advancing justice through modern forensic DNA technology. John Douglas. Is he the other one? Do I have the wrong one? Okay, no. John is a legendary former criminal profiler, best-selling author, and pioneering investigator whose work helped transform the way violent criminals are identified and pursued. During his decades with the FBI, Douglas developed modern criminal profiling techniques and led some of the nation's most groundbreaking investigations into serial offenders, violent crime, and behavioral analysis. As one of the founding architects of the FBI's Investigative Support Unit, Douglas interviewed and studied some of history's most dangerous offenders, using behavioral science to revolutionize criminal investigations and provide law enforcement with powerful tools to solve complex cases. Yeah, they should probably go over there to WSU and give them professors a refresher in those courses. I'm just saying. They're criminology professors and all. His lifelong dedication to understanding violent crime, advancing investigative methods, and pursuing justice aligns deeply with the mission of Murder Has a Name Foundation, ensuring every victim is remembered. Every predator is identified through innovation, advocacy, and forensic advancement. Probably don't got a problem with forensic advancement, but I got a problem with the web sleuths and that other author through websleuthsfound.com wanting people to go say, hey, y'all come help us search for DNA, not DNA, but family trees based on DNA submissions into databases and names y'all can search on the Google. It's all we can, forensic advancement. I want real forensic advancement, not the armchair shit. Through his extraordinary career, John Douglas has become a lasting symbol of investigative excellence. Hello, Andy Cohen, board member, ambassador, advocate. Andy is a nationally recognized victim advocate who spent decades supporting families impacted by violent crime. He serves as Director Services of Advocacy for Crime Stoppers Houston and is board member of Houston chapter of Parents of Murdered Children. Oh, wow. And serving family members of homicide as well as Texas EquiSearch. Well, that's cool. They could find, somebody else like that to partner with. Throughout his career, Andy has helped bring national attention to unsolved cases, supported families through unimaginable loss, and advocated for victims' rights. His leadership has helped pass more than 30 pieces of legislation strengthening victims' rights and public safety, including measures limiting public access to crime scene photos and preventing criminals from profiting from the crimes. Andy's lifelong commitment to justice, compassion, and advocacy reflects the heart of our mission, honoring Kaylee's legacy by supporting victims, empowering families, and helping bring answers where hope once felt lost. And look, Beth. Y'all know how many years I've been knowing who Beth is. I like Beth. I've always liked Beth. Beth is a veteran legal analyst, journalist, and former New York prosecutor with decades of experience covering high-profile criminal cases. Yes, ma'am, decades of high-profile criminal cases. I think I've watched everything you've ever covered. She currently appears as legal expert on The Curious Case of Natalia Grace and its spinoff, Curious Case of. Oh, I never watched that. That was a freaky thing. I didn't watch the Natalia. Ooh. Which air on Investigative Discovery, HBO, and the contributor to ABC's 2020. She has also appeared across major national programs, including Dateline, Good Morning America, The Today Show, CNN, and HLN. She spent 19 years as an on-air correspondent for Court TV, covering some of the nation's most widely followed trials, including Jodi Arias, Casey Anthony, yes, ma'am, Conrad Murray, and Scott Peterson. She began her legal career as assistant district attorney in New York under Robert Morgenthau. Beth hosts the podcast My Mother's Lie and also serves as the executive producer and co-host of the podcast Unrestorable. Okay, so Beth's got some podcasts out there. Go, Beth. She has contributed to documentary and podcast projects with the anonymous content and NBC Universal, including the award-winning and The Followers, The House of Prayer, and has worked on investigative productions for Oxygen. She's a busy woman. She serves as president of the New York Press Club Foundation, okay, and sits on the board of the New York Press Club. She is a graduate of Mount Holyoke College and Fordham Law School. She can educate them on the law, especially freedom of the press. Then, if she's president of the New York Press Club, she's well schooled in freedom of the press. So okay. Through her expertise in law and journalism and investigative storytelling, she brings a strong and powerful contribution to the mission. Finding that balance is going to be key going forward, right? Because we got information at our fingertips. We don't want all these cases locked down, sealed for the get-go. That's ridiculous. But at the same time, if they don't, what happens? The crazy happens. And if it's crazy happens if you don't, it's to find the balance. Powers that be. Okay. Kristen Miller. Kristen is a graduate of Emerson College. She earned a BA in radio and television before beginning her career in broadcast journalism across Boston, Charlotte, and Pinehurst. After starting a family, Kristen continued her passion for communication through advocacy, mentorship, and outreach. She has volunteered with the National Alliance on Mental Illness, supporting mental health advocacy, media outreach, and mentoring individuals in recovery. In addition to her work on advocacy, Kristen is certified life and leadership coach as well as yoga and meditation teacher, and has built her own business in both areas. Okay. This work is central to her approach, informing her mentoring, advocacy, and retreat leadership. Retreat, will they have retreat for victims' families? Could probably use a rest. I feel like Jimmy Buffett on hurricane season song, I could use some rest. Sing it, sir. Sail on, sailor. Okay, back to my song. Back to my song. Yeah, that's how I live my life. See, I'm always in a good mood. What's your name, lady? In addition to her work in advocacy, she is certified life and leadership coach. Okay, she's doing all the things. Kristen's greatest pride is her family, including her daughters, son-in-law, grandson, and all that. And then we have Miss Denise Salvino. Denise is the founder and trustee of the 5M Power Foundation, where she is dedicated to advancing charitable initiatives and supporting communities through the Charlotte area. What are we doing? Charlotte. I guess that's where her main work has been, right? She holds a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Graphic Design, dynamic professional. What does she do? Help run the site. Deeply committed service. She's actively involved in her community. Okay. So there's a bit about the board, right? I wonder, like, resources, support for families. Support organizations. We highlight trusted organizations that provide critical support, guidance, and resources to families navigating grief, trauma, and loss. And again, this is murderhasaname.com, guys. We highlight trusted organizations that provide critical support and guidance. Okay. 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Let's kind of scroll down for a moment. Okay. The Compassionate Friends supporting bereaved parents and their families. Crime Survivors Resource Center. A frequently asked questions section. We're going to come back to that. There was resources, partnerships. Forensic Technology Partners. We collaborate with forensic experts to bring cutting-edge DNA technology to unsolved cases. Our goal is to support families affected by violent crimes by providing resources and information. Together, we strive to create a path toward justice and closure for every victim. Powered by People. Our partnership with DNA Labs International. You mean the same lab that Nano sent DNA off to that everybody threw shade at? Because they, why did he do that? Because the FBI would send it to them anyway? Well, actually, they would probably use Australia. Cece said she hasn't seen results out of these people yet with follicle hair, but everything else, she said this is one of the best labs in the country. They partnered with them. Throughout our partnership with DNA Labs International, we're expanding access in advanced forensic DNA testing. And of course, there are others. They mentioned Authorm Labs is going to be in there, DNA Labs International. Let's see, who else? Do they mention anybody else on this particular page? Argen Forensics, Argen Forensics. I wonder how these partnerships work as far as funding their work, and what do they get, like a certain amount of cases? Can you do these? Like, can you do these 5? Can you do these? How does this structured, right? I can't help my brain goes there a lot. Not like I'm trying to feel like they're being shady. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just wondering how it works. So anyway, this forensic partner is also on board. Their expertise allows us to support cases with the precision and scientific depth needed to move investigations forward. You can visit them. Bodhi Technology, we heard about them recently in a case. The differences. So this is the Bodhi Technology Lab. I guess they've partnered with them as well. These are the ones that do all the same work, right? All these guys do the same work. Some DNA labs have further advancements, according to Cece. A couple of them were actively working on. She said that they were slated to launch in a year, and they may have even fast tracked that now, considering the Nancy Guthrie case, things like that. I wonder, they all have different, they're not across the board the same. I feel like I'm ignoring my chat. Hold on, let me look at y'all. Let me look at y'all. Oh, yeah, I don't want creator wars. I just try to avoid the bad ones out there. Y'all be safe on them YouTube streets is what I always say. Now y'all see why, right? Okay. Our partnership with Signature Science is a nationally trusted forensic DNA lab with 25 years of service supporting public safety, national security, and violent crime investigations. They do work in advanced DNA. I gotta get my screen to stop. There, I'm acting a fool. Signature Science, they're on board. See, there's a lot of labs, and these law enforcements, they have contracts with these various labs, right? Wherever their lab is at. Like Nanos happen to use the Florida lab. Idaho happened to contract with the Texas lab, right? Othram. That's how they ended up with the Koberger stuff. That's just how it is. And that's how nano shit happened. But people didn't want to listen to the rhyme and reason of it all. They're like too caught up in the, oh my God. Like, Jed match, the legal way in. FBI says, hold my beer. It's just a guideline we may or may not follow. Support and advocacy partners. We collaborate with Mission and we don't, well, they're the same thing. We know what they all do. This is all their ones. Our partnerships with Rivers Dahlias. Now, I guess that they didn't list Othram, y'all. Hold on. Interesting. Stacy Chapin, isn't she partnered with Othram on something or another? Jed match. Signature Science. Bodie. Arjun. And we didn't do, no, there was no damn Othram. DNA Labs International. Interesting. The money wasn't right or something. I didn't get top billing. Oh, didn't get the top billing. Oh, wait, they got that exclusive deal with the web sleuths in their own little data bank, and they got a whole country team. They got a whole team of investigators over there. Little do-gooders they are. Little do-gooders. Okay, I wanted to look at so you can get support now if you need it there with suicide and if I'm allowed to say that word on damn YouTube, and Crisis Lifeline. The Compassionate Friends supporting bereaved parents and their families. The Compassionate Friends offers compassionate support to those grieving the death of a child, sibling, or a grandchild with peer-led groups and nationwide resources. They create a safe space where families can share, heal, and feel less alone. That's nice. You can click and find a community. I wonder if is it like a local community? What's happening? Find a local chapter, contact, or search. Okay. That's nice, because especially for, you always feel alone, but when you got a violent crime occurred like that, that's not a large group of people. There's a lot of parents who've lost children, but not in that way. It's more, that's the minority way to lose the child, right? In that way. So the percentage is far less for that group of people that have to endure that journey. Crime Survivors Resource. Click here if you need to leave this site quickly. Provide a voice for the voiceless. Awareness. Leaders and influence must be aware of victims' needs. Prevention. The best form of prevention is always a well-rounded education. Advocacy. We translate the needs of crime victims into real actions and results. Healing. Surviving a crime is not something that happens overnight. No, it's not. Can't be. Anybody who tells you it is they need to acknowledge that it's not. It's just a one step at a time. And today I may be fine, tomorrow maybe not. It is what it is, right? But finding ways to find each other, right? Oh, what we got here? About crime survivors. Crime survivors' vision is for victims of crime to recover from their experience mentally, physically, emotionally, and financially by receiving the respect, support, and protection of law enforcement. the judicial system, and the community. The mission of crime survivors is to provide hope and healing to the victims and survivors of crime through advocacy, support, and resources, and information, and empowerment. Okay, I wanted to look at Kaylee's flower as well. We have Ethan has a tulip, right? Ethan always worked at Ethan Chapin worked at a tulip farm. Him and his siblings, and they had created Ethan's Smile Foundation in honor of Ethan. There's a tulip, and they have Kaylee's flower now. And let's see, what is this? There's, I guess, the way that donate. Was it here? Here we go. There we go. Kaylee. So this spot here is dedicated to Kaylee. And again, Kaylee Goncalves was 21 years old, found upstairs in the bed next to Maddie Mogan, her best friend, brutally attacked. Meet Kaylee. And again, today is Kaylee's birthday, guys, so. And tomorrow night, we should see her parents over on the interview room. Kaylee Goncalves was the kind of person people were naturally drawn to. She had a way of making others feel comfortable almost instantly, like they belonged without having to try. Her laugh was loud, her energy was real, and her presence made every ordinary moment feel lighter. Raised in Rathdrum, Idaho, Kaylee grew up surrounded by family and lifelong friends who meant everything to her. She carried that love into every part of her life, showing up for people in ways that felt effortless but meant everything. She was preparing to graduate from the University of Idaho with a job already waiting for her in Texas. She was excited, ready for what was next, and stepping into a chapter of life she worked hard for. She was a daughter, a sister, a best friend, and someone whose presence left a lasting mark on everyone who knew her. Here's some photos of Kaylee and Murphy and Maddie. Kaylee's story. Kaylee was a light in every room she entered. She had a way of making people feel seen, loved, and safe just by being herself. Whether it was time with her family, laughing with her friends, or quiet moments that meant everything, Kaylee lived with warmth, kindness, and a heart that gave us so much to others. Hold on, I gotta fix this damn screen so I can do this. This is getting on my... Get over there, out of the way. Now, it won't act a fool. She had dreams, plans, and a future she was building. She was a daughter, friend, and best friend to Maddie, and someone who brought comfort and joy to everyone lucky enough to know her. On November 13, 2022, Kaylee's life was taken in an act of violence that shook not only her loved ones but an entire community. What happened was senseless. The loss left a silence that can never truly be filled. Her story does not end there. It lives on in the love that surrounds her, in the memories carried by those who knew her, and in the fight to make sure no family is left without answers. This foundation was created in her name to carry light forward and to bring answers, justice, and closure to families still waiting. Because every life deserves to know, every story deserves to be told, and every name deserves to be remembered. The impact that she had. Kaylee's life was deeply tied to the people she loved. Her friendships weren't casual. They were constant, real, and built over years of shared moments that didn't need to be documented to matter. Her bond with her best friend Maddie was one of those connections that just existed, steady, understood, and always there. She was a part of people's everyday lives, the person you checked with, laughed with, and relied on without thinking twice. Kaylee made people feel comfortable being themselves. She listened, she paid attention, and she showed up in ways that felt natural but meant everything. That's what stays. I've seen a lot of video footage of Kaylee over the years just being Kaylee. Same for Maddie and Xana and Ethan. I made a short or video with Ethan, and he's playing a song, and it says, "I just want you to know who I am." The way she made people feel and the space she still continues to hold in their lives. That's the impact this foundation carries forward. They have been best friends since before high school. Didn't spend hardly any time apart. Went on family vacays together. Spent equal time at each. And Maddie was an only kid, so when they went to Maddie's, it was just her and Kaylee. When they were at Kaylee's, it was Maddie was just one of the gang, right? Big family. How she's remembered. Kaylee is remembered in the smallest moments. In the way a room feels when everyone is laughing a little louder. In the kind of energy that makes people feel at ease without even knowing why. She had a way of bringing people together, making things feel lighter just by being there. She didn't need to try to be that person, she just was. Her friends were real, steady, and full of the kind of connection that doesn't need to be explained. With her best friend Maddie, it was the kind of bond that just existed, constant, understood, and always there. People remember how easy it felt to be around her, how she listened, how she showed up, and how she made them feel like they mattered. That's how she's remembered, not a single moment, but in all of them. Oh. Seeking justice together, the fight for answers. Her case brought national attention and a renewed focus on the importance of timely investigations. Interesting. Timely. Advanced forensic tools and continued support for victims' families. This foundation carries that impact forward, working to ensure other families have access to the resources and technology needed to move their cases ahead. Steve Goncalves, Kaylee's dad, was always pretty vocal about he was not satisfied with law enforcement and the way they handled communication with family, right? And people should listen. Law enforcement should listen. We don't fucking matter. Law enforcement should be listening to these families, right? That's like calling them and saying, "My daughter is missing." They're like, "Are you sure she didn't go off with her boyfriend? You sure she didn't go off with her girlfriend? She'll be back tomorrow, Monday. Call us back in a couple days." You know how them women are. They walk away in their lives all the damn time. Okay, there's Kaylee's flower. It's a dahlia. It's purple though. Look, flow through the pictures like I don't know. We'll find it in a minute. A living tribute. In a beautiful tribute to Kaylee, Rivers Dahlias named a stunning new bloom the Kaylee Jade. With support from the American Dahlia Society, this living legacy ensures her name continues to bloom year after year. A portion of proceeds support the Kaylee Jade Foundation and our mission to pursue justice and remembrance. And you can go there and I think you can order those flowers. You can do the Ethan's tulips that way, right? You can order them, and I'm assuming you can do the same with Kaylee's. There's probably a link in there somewhere to go get them. To get them in honor of Kaylee Jade. So, yeah. Circles. Oh, we looked at that as the giving. So you guys can go take a look around that and, do your thing. Look if you like. You sent some floating hearts. Thank you. I wasn't ignoring chat, guys. I was just reading. Now, before we go, I will check out what you guys are saying. I need to go sit outside for a while and decompress. It is not raining, so that's a good thing, right? It appears to be a little overcast, so I'm concerned. Maybe I should look at radar. I don't ever think about it unless I need to. Anyway, back to here. Idaho needs better victim advocacy. Yeah. Excuse me. Probably a lot of places do, right, Rachel? There's probably a lot. Victim advocacy as a whole, I think, needs to get better. The way law enforcement communicates with families during these investigations needs to be better. The information they share with families years after there's been nothing, right? And how difficult it is for families to get these investigative documents from law enforcement, even to turn over to their private investigators they've now hired 10 years later, right? They're like, oh no, it's still open and active. Things need to change for victim advocacy, and they shouldn't get to hold the key unchecked. And like these bad cop situations. No, we don't want to think they're all like that, but damn, there's some, and we should shed the light on that when there are. Like all those talking head cops on the YouTubes, they should be calling that Canton cops shit out. Continue to tell me how investigations are conducted and how we should support law enforcement. I do, but also call it out. Remember, do all the things. Rachel says she's on the list to get one of the flowers. Nice. Did you ever get the, let's see. Let me see something. I actually have, where's it at? Here we go. Okay, I do have this we can share. Okay.
Franz Whitty in Nampa brought the community together to learn more about the flower dedicated to Kaylee Goncalves and the foundation in her name that will bring justice to victims of violent crimes and answers to their families. A day focused on healing, remembrance, and justice.
I felt it in my heart, and I knew it was going to be a beautiful day.
Kaylee J. Dahlia Day highlighted the newly bred flower, featuring bright pink and purple tones, created in Kaylee Goncalves' memory, while raising funds and awareness for the Kaylee Goncalves Foundation, also known as Murder Has a Name.
Murder's not a friendly word. It's hard to talk about, but that's the truth, and that's how we got here.
Kaylee Goncalves, Madison Mogan, Ethan Chapin, and Xana Kernodle were killed in the 2022 University of Idaho murders. Since then, the Goncalves family has become outspoken advocates for victims and their families, working to provide answers in violent crime cases by helping fund DNA testing and other forensic resources when agencies may not have funding available.
Every penny donated is going to that cause, because there was nothing like that evening, that night at 10:38 p.m. when we got the call and said, this is who did this to your daughter. We're ready to start getting answers for these families that have waited way too long.
The Goncalves family tells me Saturday's event reminded them just how much community support surrounds their mission.
It's nice to actually see it when it comes together. It's a word, community, but this is what community looks like, is when people wake up in the morning, they planned all this stuff, they organized this, they've been working on these signs and these
artwork.
It's bringing an immense amount of joy and bringing a large community together to support this family.
Oregon Dahlia hybridizer Rosie Cooper Vert says 100% of the proceeds from the Kaylee Jade Dahlia sales are going directly back to the foundation.
Over 200 were sold over the winter. So Kaylee Jade will be seeing sunrises and sunsets all over the nation. And it's pretty amazing to think that she might be in places she dreamed to be.
More information on how to get involved and donate to the Kaylee Goncalves Foundation can be found on this story on idahonews6.com. In Nampa,
It's pretty, isn't it? It's really pretty. The flower's pretty. I'll have to find the link like to where you could get those if you want them and drop it in like the community tab. And Ethan's is Ethan's Smile Foundation for his tulips. So guys, can y'all hold on 1 second? Sorry, had a delivery and then I had to grab a drink. Ugh. Okay. Now, Chronicles of Olivia, was a true crime content creator over on TikTok. I don't know if she still does a lot over there or not, or she's got some stuff on YouTube, but I thought it was just her and her fiance, who is Kaylee Goncalves' brother. And they met because Kaylee was a true crime buff and enjoyed Chronicles of Olivia on TikTok, right? And so she had was covering the case over there, and then that came out that Kaylee liked the channel or whatever, or the TikToks. Anyway, they ended up linking up and doing, I don't know if it was interviews. I'm not sure how the family met Olivia. I do know, well, actually, let me JLR, Bullhorn Betty, Olivia, Rory. How many of y'all actually went to Idaho that one time? Yeah, that okay. So anyway, there was a lot of them back then talking, but they met at some point, and now they're engaged. So she's got her Facebook page, Chronicles of Olivia. I noticed today was active with sharing content about Kaylee, the Foundation for Kaylee Murder Has a Name. So I thought, that's cool that they're doing, that, because I didn't know the girl was still doing true crime or not, but apparently she is. I don't know, but I did notice that today. Now, with what we just read about Kaylee, right? When I tell y'all these victims were what these families go through, and people may not understand it, like people were really going at the parents of Kaylee, for different various reasons or whatever. But on the internet for years, even after Koberger was arrested and the probable cause came out, and it's like all the gag order, all these things that went down with that case, the victims were drugged so hard. When I tell y'all that they weren't just like, oh, they talked about them. They said horrible, disgusting things about Kaylee on open YouTube panels. I heard it all. Horrible things about these girls. Victim blaming, shaming, all anything you could imagine they were accused of being OnlyFans. There's not one single warrant for OnlyFans on that docket anywhere. Ever, never, ever, ever, ever. Never was. Things like that. The victims don't deserve all that, but it happens. But they deserve support from people, at the same time who are in it for that right reason. That because you don't do that. You don't do that as a human. Do that shit. What is the purpose of all that? So with Kaylee's birthday in mind and knowing that Goncalves just got this foundation going, they're going to be on the interview room tomorrow night. I just saw that interview they did at the Crime Con with what's his name? That's rude. That Crime Talk guy. Giving these families a voice. The video we watched of Kresha earlier, telling web sleuths, don't do that. Don't go try to do anything in the name of my family. And then Kresha coming in and saying, well, she still did it. Like, what? No, now I've subscribed on purpose, so I'll get a notification next time Heifer goes live. Because I got things to say. I heard we got freedom of speech in this country. And they're going to block me, time me out, move me, I don't know, stuff, whatever the mods do. It's wild. Now, so try to always be supportive of family members. You shouldn't even be an effort. It should just be there, right? And until we have other reasons to think nefariously, right? Don't just come out of the gate doing it. Think about what they go through across the board. Not just having to deal with what just happened is horrible. Everything that comes after, including now we got media ringing the phone, knocking on the door. Do you care to comment? Care to comment? Go stick that care to comment in another YouTuber's face. As a YouTuber, approach another YouTuber that's been talking trash about you and say, care to comment? And they're going to be like, no, I can't face to face. I got to go home and get on the video and do it. I'll make my comment there. Damn, that's wild. Think about that. No, I don't care to comment at the moment, but I'll wait until I get home and fire up the PC. I'll get me a video going. File my response. Damn it, man. Wow. Okay. Now tonight, did I put this up here? Let me see if I uploaded this. Hold on. I wanted to show you. I did. I remembered. Yay. This is a map that Annie Guthrie allegedly gave to the neighborhood community watch, whatever organization people, HOA, whatever, the community, Catalina Foothills Association people. This is a map Annie's allegedly shared in their group, right after Miss Nancy Guthrie went missing. And it's been out there for a long time. And it was allegedly a map of her saying, anybody along this route with cameras, please notify law enforcement, right? Check your cameras. Do you see things during this time frame? Now, over here is Annie's home. And back the other direction that you can't see in this frame over this way would be Nancy's, right? And they're like 4 minutes away, so it's just down the road. But apparently there's been creators go through this, and you can go look at the Lulu Walker School and look around there and see where the cameras are. You can go to the salon and do the same thing. It's just was a route, and I don't know what that's going to imply to the family members, but the interview room apparently is going to be live tonight to pick apart this map of Annie's. I can only imagine. I'm going to be there just to see. Curiosity might kill the cat. Maybe not. I've got 9 lives. So I might be down a few. Hang on. Hold up. I got to take count. Oh, I got some left. We're good. We're good. So I'm like, it's just ways out of the neighborhood, right? And I tried unpacking that with Keith over here. Remember, guys, we pulled up the maps. I'm like, how do you get out of there? And where do you go? Where do you go? Which way do you go? Where do you take Miss Nancy? Right? So they're going to investigate that tonight over there, Annie's map. And I don't know if people are so intrigued because it's Annie's map, or is it just one of the possible routes out of the neighborhood from Nancy's over? Why are they going to go past Annie's? Because I've looked at the map. That's not the way. I don't understand why they would go that way at all. Like, that was a crazy criminal to think that, but okay, right? If you look at the map, you got to kind of put yourself in the thought process of this abductor. Where would you go? Which way would you go, right? And you're going to go where you're going to go, but there's going to be a route to there. And we have no footage of cars leaving Nancy's neighborhood. It's time frames. We don't need all day and all night. Well, that might be pertinent if we can narrow it down to anybody during the time frame Nancy was abducted, right? Do we see it's the middle of the damn night? How many cars we got going and coming from these exit points from this neighborhood? That was my first question. How many videos can we obtain from the exit points of this neighborhood during this time frame? Can we make anything of any car we see? Then you would think that would be their first go-to. So let me see. We're going to go in just a second. I don't know. Maybe. Let me go here. The way I did this. Come on now. Why didn't you save what I said to you earlier? Okay. Now. Oh, I may need to. See, that map that we looked at was opposite, was turned, right? Because here is where Annie lived, over here at Jenna Mate's Drive. They're not there anymore. Like, they haven't been staying there, I don't think. All that information's out there. I'd hate to, don't, A and T. It says 8 minutes from Nancy. Nancy lived over here, right? So it would suggest that a person could leave Nancy's and come through, enter down through here and come bypass through Annie's and go out or towards the school out to Oracle, right? Like the highway is out there. I think it was just one of the possible routes, because if you look at the way this encompasses, right? Because if you go zoom out and just focus on Nancy's now. Highway 77, right? Because you got to look at where are we going. That was my first thought. The interstate's right there. You can literally take 77 to the interstate, right? They have nothing about a car leaving this neighborhood. Not even on the school camera, not that we know of. None of these residents. Now, not all. If you go and like travel the map on Google, right, and just take for what it's worth, not every single home was that far set back from the highway or the roads, and not every single one had growth and vegetation where it couldn't see well. There was a couple that could see very well, especially some of those newer constructions that had very low landscaping, very new vegetation, right? I was like, especially that one over there by Nancy's on that one corner. I was like, some of those people driving around down there, I wish y'all would drive here. Let me get a visual. Sitting idle's not doing me any good. I need to roam around and see the ways, right? Where am I going? What's happening? So I don't know. I'm going to go and check that out, I think, just to see if they unpack things over there or how they think about it. What do y'all think? Do y'all think that the fact they don't have a car in this case means they don't have a car, or do you think they possibly have it but can't give a make and model, right? They can't identify what these vehicles are. Because if you leave Nancy's, you've only got a couple ways to actually go. Look, where the blue line is, takes you up to Orange Grove, back to Skyline. Skyline will take you back out to these highways, right? Back toward the interstate. You can go the other way up Campbell. You can go out toward the desert, up into the foothills. You can leave Nancy's and come back this way toward town, right? Where there's, as soon as you roll out of there, there's shopping centers and banks and restaurants. I was like, well, there's a lot going on around here. So multiple ways you could leave out of there, but it would depend on where you were going when you left out of there. Right? Am I going to California? Am I going to New Mexico? Am I going south of the border? Am I staying in the neighborhood until everything calms down? Oro Valley. California is not far away. Marana is right there. Everybody's been talking about that area. I go up. It would all depend on where you were taking the lady, the victim, the hostage, with the kidnapped victim. What would you even call? I mean, we don't even know what happened. We think we know. I don't know, guys. And it's anybody's question. It's still a toss-up. Where would they go? Look, there's the National Park West over here. What always interested me was the fact that when you don't catch somebody locally quickly, do you wonder, did they move on quickly? Wonder that the Delphi case, turns out, allegedly, the guy's he's like right there in town for 5 years. Nobody knew it. We don't even got a visual on Masked Man at the door because he's got a mask on, duh. But if I need to leave out of here, I got a couple of quick ways to get out of here. You got interstates all right here, right here, right here. In I-10, you can jump on there and get to Cali and all the way to Florida and never have to leave the damn highway. California is quite close. And people in California tend to work in the entertainment industry, the news media industry, kind of like the people out in New York. That was just one thing that crossed my mind. On the outskirts of Cali somewhere. Interesting. I don't know, guys. I could sit here for a minute and talk about that. What's going on? Hang on. What happened here? What the hell? Oh goodness. Hey, Black Hawk. My guess is like Richard Allen, whoever did this didn't go far, right? They are nearby. You think they may be, why they were so. it feels like they're nearby, right? It just feels like they knew the way, right? They knew the area. But Brian Koberger came to Washington in July, and by November knew his way between there and Moscow and knew the lay of the land of that house where those girls lived. He had to have known the house set up some time, 3 months. So I got to thinking about that. Everybody's like, oh, the Jim show. I'm like, wait, brakes on. Think about it. That's an excellent cover. A lot of people in town. Lots of Airbnbs being rented. Lots of people moving about inconspicuously. Use our noggin. In and out, planning and all. I don't know. My conspiracy brain could go on and on with that one. We don't know who you are, Carson Kelly, but bye-bye. Yeah, well, yeah, Black Hawk. Yeah, you think? Okay. Damn it. If anybody can get me. Okay, I'm going to go down that rabbit hole any second. You know it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do we have an accomplice? Yeah, we may. Hiking buddy, maybe? No, we don't. Y'all, so happy birthday to Kaylee. And all the victims should be upheld, and Trisha over there trying to do these fundraisers and celebration parties to celebrate something Lori and Chad Daybell said was going to happen is ridiculous. If you want to hold an annual event to raise funds for children, do it correctly. Come correct. And you better come with a 501c and a plan. And the family's approval. That's the way it should be. And if we start demanding these things, they won't be acceptable anymore. So these bad behavior is acceptable all over the place, it feels like. We're just accepting the horrible behavior. No. Kresha says, don't use my family's name. Then now I hear tell she's out there using the family's name. Okay. Notification on, ma'am. Notification on. All right. With that said, guys, I'm getting tired of sitting in this house. I literally need to be outside. I can't be in this house all the time. My soul's like, no. And it looks like rain may be coming, so I better get out there for a hot minute and enjoy it and take these dogs out at the same time. All the things. And I'm going to have to eat dinner eventually. I'll be back tomorrow, more than likely. There's some other things we need to get to and unpack still that we haven't done yet. I looked at the Stacey Wanderer's case, guys. I don't even know why the guy's going to trial. There's no documents that to get into. There's the court date. There is this one thing, because somebody in chat did ask. And I said, yes, I'm keeping my eye on it over there. So I double checked because they had court the other day, right? So the only thing new was the court minutes, and it says so they had a Zoom hearing, right? So the defense is ready for trial, but we'll be filing several motions. Parties will be ready for trial in September. The court reminded parties of the pretrial conference on 8/4 and advised the trial will remain set on 9/14/26. So they're going to have a pretrial conference, and then the trial starts September. August is your pretrial. September 14th, we have the trial starting. Defense motion for another status conference to coordinate motion filings, and the state does not object. But there were no new motions filed yet. I was like, what are y'all doing? Last things that were filed were motions to film, right? The media, photograph in court proceedings, record and photograph court proceedings. That stuff's there. Notice of criminal hearings are there. Request for discovery, alibi demand. That was back March 18th. That's it. Criminal information. There's not just like a ton there. So I really don't know how his defense is going to work out for him. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I'll keep an eye on it and see if anything does pop up into his in there. All right, guys. Tomorrow I may recap some of the stuff that I'm seeing, on the show tonight, unless I see something else I want to get at. I don't want to read any of the Idaho 4 documents this week. We still have another document set we haven't gotten to yet in the Anna Kapner case. I want to get to that this week as well. And I have to reach out to Andy because I need to find out her availability for this week, because we are going to unpack the case that she has been enlightening me on, and I've got the information, and I got to get that organized here on the computer in my files so I can bring it up like I need it. So I'm going to be doing that this week as well. Thank y'all for coming in. And remember, shine light on victims any chance you can. Share the missing children posters. It just takes a moment to click share. You don't even got to say anything. Just click share. Maybe somebody, if you got friends all across the country on your Facebook, on your socials, they might see it and notice it, right? Just do it. But if they can't get enough advocates in this world, right? And when we see people using victims in a gross way, Trisha, and they're laughing about it. They're making jokes. They're doing this weird stuff, right? When you think it's all a joke and we just can't take a joke, stop insulting my intelligence and quit gaslighting. Let's call it what it is. With that said, y'all be super safe on those YouTube streets, okay? Yeah. Oh, butterfly. I was about to hit the thing. Yeah, it is my birthday tomorrow. It is. I don't feel any different, though. Actually, my body kind of does. Like, damn, my son was making fun of me. I was like, dude, stop it. You know I got a birthday. It is what it is. But anyway. Yeah, Kaylee's is the day before mine. And tomorrow, again, it was the, dates and cases, that happen. And it's like these things are, we do get heavy around here. So maybe we don't talk about a lot of heavy tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe I won't be in the mood for all that heavy tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes. See what we can get into. Again, happy birthday to Kaylee. And peace, love, and light to all the families. There's not a thing you can say except I send you peace if you can feel it, right? I pray you find peace, because peace is the ultimate thing. Coming to terms with, finding that peace where you can close your eyes at night or sit outside and think and just be and realize I'm at peace. I wish y'all that. Everybody have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you all for watching this here video. Please like and subscribe.